Are you serious? Did you really just fart on me?
Just weigh yourself before and after you poo.
I come on the internet every day. That didn't come out correctly.
Is cannibalism against the TOS? I know boobs are.
That is absolutely majestic. And hello, everybody. Welcome to the first episode of Fully Rendered. I am joined today by
Me!
him, PG Pixel. I was like, I can't remember which hand comes up. And then on this side,
Anyone, I forget which
And
end.
me.
and
Well,
you.
fictionally.
Yes. So
Save the best for last.
Wonderful,
Nip,
wonderful.
for those who are a wee bit confused, like, who is this bearded gentleman on my favorite streamer's channel? Well, for those not in the know, we've started a podcast, and this is the very first episode of the podcast, and we're going to be talking about games, movies, shows, geek adjacent nerd culture, basically all those things that we all love and adore, and sharing our opinions on them and discussing what we think about them and probably rambling about them, whatever you like, and hopefully you'll hear our thoughts and sharing your thoughts as well as viewers and watchers and listeners of the podcast. It will be available on YouTube. It will be available on most common streaming platforms, so that will include Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and a bunch of others. And it's all aggregated through a system called Anchor, which is run by Spotify, basically. So we'll give the links out at the end of the show. But for now, let's discuss the agenda. So the
We're also
agenda,
going to mix it down to tape, right?
yes, we will also be putting it onto tape, onto VHS. No more Netflix and chill, just VHS and fuck.
Don't forget
yeah.
vinyl.
And
We'll be
vinyl
on
as well, of
vinyl.
course. Once
Yes.
we start getting the money
Edison
coming
wax
in.
cylinders.
Yeah, exactly. So the format we're going with at the moment is going to be 3 main topics, and then we've got a bunch to like fill in if we've got time and things like that as well. So I'll quickly run through the main topics that we're going to be talking on today, and then in the second half of the show, we'll be talking more and focusing more on games and things like that. So today we're going to be looking at the DCCU. Is it the DCCU? Is it just DCU or
I think it's just DCU, actually.
It ain't
What's
nothing
that?
right now, dude.
nothing
Yeah, I don't know
right
what's going
now?
on with that.
But
I don't
there's
think they know what's going on with that.
there's a lot going on, and that's what we'll hopefully be able
What's
to
the
discuss.
opposite of expanded universe? That's what it is.
Well, it's being reset, isn't it, essentially? The other topic will
Okay.
be the day before, and the clown show that is at the moment. We'll also be discussing the shit canning of like so many games in the last week, live service games in particular, that are no longer going to be with us. Some of them have been shut down already. It's quite an extensive list. So we'll be discussing those games, our thoughts on why it's all happening now at the same time, things like that. And then we've got some filler subjects. So should we start with the DC, potentially DCCU?
Mm.
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 Okay.
I mean, James Gunn, right?
Yes,
That's a good thing.
I think so. Yes, I wholeheartedly think so. And obviously, it's a partnership between him and someone else, and he's going to be obviously not just directing or writing, but producing. So he's got hands in every pocket and has knowledge
wow.
of all of those things.
But also that means he won't be directing some things.
Yeah, which is very, very true. We've got an article here that I'll put on the screen for those of you who are watching this live. It's by The Hollywood Reporter, written by Boris Kitt. Basically, there was a video 2 days ago, I believe it was. This was written on the 31st, so maybe even a week ago. But James Gunn put out a video and was like, here's what we're going to do. It's basically a reset. And they announced a lot. Now, when it comes to comic books as the medium, I don't really read a lot of comic books. I gave it a go. It just wasn't the medium for me. I prefer reading books generally and just watching like anime, TV shows and things like that. But I did get somewhat hooked into the MCU. I enjoy all those movies, and I've enjoyed some of the DC movies. How's it been for you guys?
I'm not
kind of
much
got
of a comic book fan, so like, and I'm like anytime it's like even the MCU, all that, all of it just goes over my head. I don't really care for them.
Yeah, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. How about you, PG?
Yeah, it's also
Uh,
kind of it's a little exhausting right now too. There's so many.
There is, isn't there? I
There
used to read comics. I used to love comics, but then I started reading like indie comics, and then I strayed from the light of whatever Marvel was doing at the time, and the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I just got so
It's so
bored of it.
big.
It was
Yeah.
so much.
It's so big.
There's so much. There are some movies I like, and I do like the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, which is James Gunn. So that's cool. I like the gay Thor one. That was dope.
Yeah, I enjoy that
Was it
one.
Ragnarok? Was it
Um,
Ragnarok?
Love and Thunder.
Yeah, it was
No,
Love and
that's the
Thunder.
brand
yeah.
new one, isn't it? Love and Thunder.
I thought that was the gay one.
Well, I mean, I think there's
When
a
he,
second
like-
gay one. I think that's the sequel to the original gay one, which was
Okay.
Ragnarok.
Uh,
It was super 80s anyway.
right.
And I enjoyed that one.
That's fair. That's
And
fair.
I think
some
I,
other,
I saw it, but I kind of checked out. Like I said, there's so much going on, and I don't like having to do homework when the new ones come out. It's like, I gotta watch the other 4.
Right. There's
That's the
definitely
thing.
some movies in the MCU where I've been like, I could probably get away with not watching that one, and like I haven't watched the Ant-Man sequel, for example.
I did like WandaVision though.
I didn't
That
actually
was
watch WandaVision. I probably should have, but
It's kind of neat. It's kind of neat, even though I was confused as shit the whole time.
yeah, because
Ah,
I was like
'Cause I'm
contemplating
not
it.
familiar with the lore, And again, it's all about like the homework aspect.
Right.
And
Yeah.
it's like, I gotta watch all these other movies to know who these characters are, or have read the comics to at least have a little bit more of a basic understanding.
that's a good point because James Gunn really likes smaller side heroes, characters, and stuff. And from what they announced, it's smaller side characters that you might not have, even if you like are just into the comics, you might not really know much about those characters anyway.
Right.
So is that like an in for people? Because we all know who fucking Batman is, right?
A lot of the announcements they've made, obviously, it covers a broad range of some of the more mainstream identities that we know in the DCU. But there are, as you said, like a lot of shows that for folks who are probably more fans of the comics and know those characters, as opposed to people who just absorb the TV series, like the Batman series and things like that. And not only that, but the format that they're going with, it varies wildly from announcement to announcement, from show to show. For example, they've got the Creature Commandos, a 7-episode animated series, so a cartoon effectively. So they're doing a cartoon, but then they're also doing a Waller rather, which is in a spin-off of Gunn's own HBO Max hit series Peacemaker. So that's going to be like a HBO Max styled show as well. And then you've got Superman Legacy, which is supposed to be like the proper kickoff to the mainstream universe. So they've got some stuff that's probably not canon to that, the DCU, as it were. So you got Superman Legacy.
DC owned by the movies, media.
I don't actually know. I don't think I've ever paid attention. Warner Bros. I think did some of them
because they tried to launch another cinematic universe with Tom Cruise horror. I can't remember what it's called.
Oh God, I don't know.
Because it really left a mark, right? That's how good that was. And what did they make, like a movie or something?
Well, there's one that I'm actually genuinely stoked for, which is Paradise
Trying to
Lost.
figure out what you're talking about.
Paradise Lost.
Yeah, I have no idea which one Peachy was on about, but Paradise Lost is going to be the HBO Max
universe.
series as Game of Thrones style drama, and it's basically about
Oh,
Wonder Woman
God.
and where
Really?
she's from. Yeah, but Wonder
No.
Woman and
We
where
already
she's
have
from.
Wonder Woman.
Yeah, but no, but everything you've seen is just like, yeah, that was nice. They're completely resetting it. So they're going to do a series that's Game of Thrones style about where Wonder Woman can't speak anymore.
Why is
Wonder
it
Woman
Game of
came
Thrones
from.
Style? Wonder Woman isn't Game of Thrones style.
No, but they're going to make it Game of Thrones style.
She's
They're
an
going to make it
Amazonian
gritty. And,
lady.
like, yeah, there's going to be.
On the Amazon.
Listen,
That's where, to be fair, that's where DC should focus, is a bit more gritty here, because they've always been a bit more gritty.
right. And obviously,
The
comics
thing is,
generally.
like, the grittiness is getting like a little much. I think I did see a bit of the Batman, and my God, I could not hold my attention.
The Patterson
It's
one?
just a little too. Yeah, the one that just came out.
Yeah, I loved that one. That was fantastic.
I don't really. Well, it's like because we already had like Batman Begins, and all like that trilogy, which was the gritty one, and then like let's make it grittier.
Yeah, I can kind of see what he's saying, but also the general themes in the new Batman is a
Well,
lot
it's like
more like detective noir.
it's kind of funny because I feel like there's like the stark contrast where you have DC is like going so far and like we're going Game of Thrones style, and then MCU is just kind of like clowning on everybody at this point, where it's like let's do Love and Thunder, and I mean
Yeah, but everyone shit on Love and Thunder.
I know, but you know what I mean. It's like they're getting like progressively more ridiculous as they go on, and it's like so we're I don't know. We'll find where the line is for them.
Well, that's one of the surprising things about this announcement. They're not just doing like HBO style shows; they're doing everything. Obviously, they're even expanding into the game universes as well with like the Suicide
First of all,
Squad
they're
game stuff.
saying they're doing everything.
Yeah, this is what they're saying. Obviously, some things may be hit, some may be missed. There's going to be a show
You could say a
probably
lot,
akin
James
to.
Gunn.
Sorry.
You could say a lot, James Gunn.
That's true. He could say a lot, and it could be that
say a
none of
lot.
it comes to
He
fruition.
filled a shotgun with superheroes and just shot it, and yeah, the way I'm going to make those.
It's like the makeup gun from The Simpsons.
The best thing DC have made in years is Doom Patrol. And no one's seen Doom
I forgot
Patrol.
about Doom Patrol. That wasn't Brendan Fraser in that one?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, that one was pretty good. I
Yeah,
forgot
it was
about
dope.
it. See, that's what I mean with like there's so many superhero like movies and shows that are coming out that you just bring up Doom Patrol. I was like, wait, I think I really liked that one, but I didn't remember it.
Yeah.
a
Yeah,
little
but it
bit-
was pretty small. Like the first season budget was,
It still
a
looked
couple of
great.
quid.
What
That
about
was great.
Swamp Thing though?
Listen, I support my boy, my boy Brandon.
We all love a bit of Brandon, I think.
Yes, we do. I think we do.
Do we love a bit
Uh,
of Swamp Thing, which they're doing a horror movie?
I mean, that's where Swamp Thing excels, is horror movie, I guess. I
The
didn't
Swamp
actually
Thing is
see
gonna
that
be
they were
the-
doing Swamp Thing.
I'm actually okay with that. I would like to see something more of like a horror aspect. I would like to see how they're gonna do that
Hmm.
because like horror can kind of be like, oh, it's horror, but then it's like, what are you doing? How are you doing that? Is he gonna be the antagonist, or I don't know?
I would assume they basically mean that it's going to
Too
be
scary.
R-rated and gory, is my guess.
Yeah,
Which
that'd be cool.
isn't really something
But then,
Marvel have done,
that's
is it?
not really horror. That's just it's R-rated and gory.
Deadpool was pretty R-rated and gory.
Yeah, it
Yes,
wasn't a
I
horror movie.
suppose, but obviously,
Actually, like,
yeah, there was a lot of
Ryan
comedy in
Reynolds
it.
plays.
Well, yeah, that's true. There was
Yeah.
a lot of comedy.
A fair amount of comedy.
But
Yeah.
the reason there's so much comedy in there is because if you don't like this joke, there's another one coming in about 3 seconds. Don't worry.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
It's more for the spectacle that it's gory in Deadpool more than anything. It's like, look, we've made an R-rated movie. Whereas obviously
Yeah.
with Swamp Thing, there's a direct theme of going with horror,
Darkness.
scaring the crap out of people, being quite dark.
I'd be
And cool.
interested to see that one. I'm a big fan of horror in general, not games. I'm a big weenie because everything scares me. But when it comes to movies, I really like horror aesthetics and like not so much like jump scares because like
Didn't
Ew,
you just
annoying.
pick up Dead Space?
I did just pick up Dead Space. I am part of the PS5 crew now, and I'm going to finally play that when I start streaming games again. And plus Demon Souls. And I'm not gonna lie, Demon Souls scares me more than Dead Space because all the Souls games in the beginning, like everything.
That's fair. I'm
Just-
very jealous that you've got
It's more fear of
PS5.
my ego. It's more fear for my ego. It's just, I don't want to. Don't make me feel
Just
worse.
play it
about
offline
myself.
and no one will know you got scared. It'd be fine.
No, it's we. I mean, come on. That's good
Yeah, I know.
entertainment. That's good entertainment. No one wants to see me be good at anything.
Were there
So-
any?
They got a cartoon. They
Yes.
got a horror. They've got
Mhm.
this Game of Thrones style thing. I assume they're gonna have a normal movie type.
Yeah, they're going to also do like an Agents of Shields like show, I believe, as well. So something that's just a bit more like slice of lifey, happy-go-lucky, bit more B
I see
movie
they're
in
doing,
style.
a Supergirl again.
Yeah,
Wasn't like I remember the show. What that one went like? Didn't people clown on that one a lot?
I
Yeah,
don't
but
think
people
I
clown on
recall
everything.
watching it.
I think we clown on everything. I'm clowning on everything.
Are they doing
Yes.
any ridiculous, stupid things?
I hope so.
Um,
I would like that.
Yeah, I'm more at like, I'll give this,
they're doing
A
Booster
chance.
Gold, which is like a very lower tier superhero. Booster Gold, a HBO Max series based on a unique, lesser known hero created in 1986. Safran said of the series, it's about a loser from the future who uses basic future technology to come back to today and pretend to be a superhero. Gunn described it as a imposter syndrome as superhero. So that's probably going to be pretty comical, I would imagine.
It does sound kind of interesting, actually.
That'd be kind of fun. Yeah, I'm into that.
Yeah, like a
We'll see, because I don't know who the fuck
semi-con
that
man
is.
like
So
thing.
that actually might be a good thing to go into. It's like, well, since it's lesser known, I don't know who that is, and I'm fine with checking that out.
Yeah, I agree. It's nice to not have to see the same. Oh, it's Batman again. It's Superman
One of the
again.
Yeah.
homework aspect
But
with
then
my
they are
topic.
doing
Like, you have
Wonder
all
Woman
these other
again.
movies that you have to watch, and it's already talked about the lore. But if you're introducing a new character and one who not a lot of people know, I think everyone's kind of, for the most part, is on the same page, and we're all going to be like,
Yeah,
you know,
how many diehard fans are there at Booster Gold going, he would never? What is
Yes.
this?
anyone watching live should sound off in our respective chat.
Come
Just
to Booster
waiting.
Gold fans. Booster Gold for life.
Where's the Booster Gold fans?
Is there anything that's been announced that you two are particularly into or looking forward to or like the sound of?
No.
No, that's fair play.
I just don't care that much about.
I don't really
There's
care
been
too
too
much
much.
either.
There's been too much, but you know,
Same, I hate
Scary Swamp Thing, that does sound interesting.
Hmm.
A Game of Thrones style Wonder Woman, none of that sounds interesting to me.
See,
But
I'm
I don't like old Game of Thrones, so.
I'm stoked for that because I eat up that type of television, like House of the Dragon, The Last of Us currently out at the moment, Game of Thrones, Breaking Bad, all of that. So I'm really looking forward to
I have
that.
to get to HBO again so I could check out Last of Us, because at first when it was coming out, I'm like, well, I mean, we already talked about it before, but how like not really into the misery simulators. You know, it's not really my thing. Everything's sad and depressing, and you're never gonna feel good about yourself. Not really my my speed. So even though I do have a history of playing things or watching things that are like that,
There's
but anyway, doesn't matter.
One thing
I
you're
have
not
heard it's good,
considering
and I'm interested. Yes.
about Paradise Lost. It's about
Oh yes.
Wonder Woman and where she's from. So it's just going to be hundreds
Did
of
they recast
really
Wonder
hot,
Woman?
buff women.
Did they recast Wonder Woman?
Yes, they've
Oh, yeah.
recast everyone.
Okay, good. I'm not a big fan of Gal Gadot. I'll be honest.
Yeah,
They-
they've just
She's hot, but I don't really like her. Imagine all the people.
right. Yeah, nah, I get what you're saying. Yeah, that's fair enough. That's fair enough.
To be honest, I don't care what an actor says off if they're good on. Do you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Yeah, no, I'm saying like
oh,
I've
that
seen her
person
on.
is just trash.
I saw her
Oh, that was
in
a good movie.
Justice League, and she was fine, but like not personal big fan of her specifically. But
Right.
she did well, and she did look the part.
Yes.
Mhm.
So yeah, so like I'm not gonna. I can single that part out from like my personal feelings.
That's fair.
Do you
I'm
think
just
though
stoked
they've
for the
announced
buff
all this?
hot women.
I like
Okay.
hot women. I think everyone likes hot women. Everyone likes titties. Everyone likes legs. Everyone likes ass.
That's fair. Should we round this topic
Do you
up then?
think
Or?
do you think they've announced all these things to just gauge interest?
I think
Possibly.
I think it was more of to explain what was going on because there was obviously a lot of mystery behind it. Because obviously Gunn moved in and was like, "Hi, I've bought like all of this and I'm now part of it." Then people were getting like laid off, things like that. One of the things he cleared up was that Cavill wasn't fired; he was merely just not hired for the reboot that they're doing.
Yeah, but that's like a kind of crappy way of saying you're not hired, you're fired.
Yeah, but it's not like
Like-
they were making a
it's like when-
sequel
it's like
and
when you're-
replaced
it's-
him. Is
Yeah, it's
It reminds me of when you're a seasonal hire for retail, and then you're just not on the schedule anymore, and they're like, "Oh, well,
Yay, no
this is-
seasonal hire.
Yeah."
yeah, it's still obviously the optics of it can still look bad, but I can also appreciate where they're going. We're resetting.
Yeah, we'll see. I still think
Well, they
Henry
need
Cavill is
to.
the goodest of boys, and he deserved better.
Yeah,
They don't want to make DC money. They want to make Marvel money, and they have not been making Marvel money.
not at all. No, and I think
No,
this is
Definitely not.
supposed to be the shot in the arm to bring them into that kind of money.
Let's
And-
see.
I'm optimistic, I will say.
I will be cautiously optimistic. How about that?
That's fair enough. That's fair enough. Should we,
I will not think about it until something like is
I think
launched,
I'm
and then
probably
watch
gonna be
it.
there too.
yeah, that's fair play.
I think
that's
after
fair
this,
play.
I will forget.
So the next thing to discuss is the day before.
The day before.
Now, for those of you watching not familiar with the day before was announced about 3 years ago now. And when it was
Is it the
announced,
Game Awards or
it was something to that effect. I think I've got the trailer about somewhere.
oh,
There we
actually,
go.
I've got
Play the trailer
a
in the meantime.
I got a
but-
fun video for that if you need it.
I've got one. I've got one up. So
That one.
it's just the original announcement trailer that I'm playing.
No, Discord. Remember that channel?
Oh God, I didn't actually look at this article until just now, and I'm like,
Right, yeah, I'll show that one as well because that'll be
It's
good.
so good.
Tell
Yeah.
us what the day before is.
So the
Oh,
day
that's
before,
so good.
it was announced around about 3 years ago. They announced it with the trailer currently playing on screen, and it's supposed to essentially be like third-person Division-style gameplay with kind of like The Last of Us theme. So there's zombies, you're in a post-apocalyptic world. There's supposed to be Tarkov.
Groundbreaking.
Yes, and there's supposed to be like Tarkov-style looting and things like that. And this generated a huge amount of hype to the point where this game became the most wishlisted game on Steam. Now, for me, that was the first red flag, because as
Yeah.
hype as it is, survival horror and like survival Tarkov style, Division style stuff, loads of people are into that. But enough people to get the top wishlisted game on Steam?
Yeah, but when I saw
Yes.
that, I went and wishlisted it because it looked very cool, even though I'm not
Yeah.
into like easy type games.
It seems kind of neat. Like when I looked at the
The first
the
trailer,
Steam page,
it
looked kind of cool. But
amazing.
then,
Yeah.
yeah, but it does seem
There is a
little
problem
sketch.
with that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What
it
you
did
have
seem
to
a little
bear in
sketch the
mind-
more I looked into it. So I didn't wishlist it, but maybe I'm the one that's not cool here.
Something to bear in mind as well is this studio, this is a game that they announced, this huge Goliath of a project, and all their previous games have either been abandoned, they're all small scale as well, either abandoned or unfinished. And the last one they did was Prop Night, which is basically like Dead by Daylight meets Prop Hunt or something like that, and it's combined together. So about a year or so after this, they did another trailer. And in that trailer, they were going, okay, yep, you're all hyped for this massive game. Let's show you this footage that you're really keen to see on. And throughout the footage and the announcement or the showcase, they kept talking about Prop Night and talking about new features in Prop Night and loads of things about Prop Night over and over again throughout this trailer that's supposed to be, or through this announcement that was supposed to be for the day before. Then about another year later, they do another trailer. They showcase some more of the scenery and things like that. And all of these trailers they've done are all very, very highly polished and very vertical slicey, let's say. But in this other trailer, people started to notice two things. One, they kept talking about this app that they were using. They were like, yeah, we've been using this app. It's been really good for like organizing meetings and just generally while we're traveling around the world to get stuff sorted for this game. And they kept mentioning this app over and over and over again. At no point did they disclose that they make the app that they keep dropping hints about during a showcase again about the day before. People also noticed in the video that there was certain assets that looked like they were just cut and pasted out of other games. Like there's a petrol station or a gas station that they show, and it looks like the one from, I believe, what's the Telltale game with the kids, the teenagers. We actually mentioned it the other day.
Life is Strange.
Life is Strange, yeah. There's
Life is Strange.
there's like a 1-for-1 scene from Life is Strange, but obviously just with the assets like repainted. And
Wait,
it's-
I don't think I saw that. I kind of want to, because I did play Life is Strange, and even though like the first one was okay, they are kind of like admittedly pretty ridiculous. So I need to see that.
Yeah, so there was like loads of things where it's like, wait, this looks like an exact scene from other games. So there was that as well. The game was due to be released in March, upcoming in the next couple of months, and they were supposed to be showing a 10-minute video a few days ago. And then I think it was like the day or two before, weird things started happening with the Steam page. The Steam page was quietly breaking like over time, like screenshots, trailers, things like that were coming off the Steam page, and then eventually the entire Steam page disappeared. So people are like, yo, what's going on with the Steam page? They did an announcement saying it was a bug, that maintenance had occurred and the Steam page got taken down. People were looking into it because not a lot of folks know this. Steam show or share a lot of their API with third parties. So you can actually go in and see things being removed manually, like delete picture, delete button, delete this box full of text from the Steam page. So like, that's a weird bug to delete things manually during maintenance. And they said, oh yeah, next maintenance it will be back up. It did not come back up. So then they said, oh, there's been a trademark dispute. And this is where it gets even weirder. Because the trademark dispute, they said they were only made aware of it on the 19th of January.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't apply for the trademark for the most wish-listed game on Steam until nearly a year after they announced it. When they applied for it, someone else had already applied. So at that point, they would have been notified going, there is a dispute. You now have to appeal this and fight it amongst yourselves.
That's hilarious.
So they're saying, oh, we only found out like a week ago. And it's like, well, you didn't. One, you're remarkably stupid for announcing a game without any trademarks beforehand. Even more so that it becomes the most wish-listed game on Steam.
That does happen, though. That does happen.
Like, I can get that with like maybe like small indie companies, but these guys have got a big publisher behind them.
Mm-hmm. And they've got really nice Rolexes as well, Brian.
They do. And they can travel around the world and things like that. So it's all a bit sketchy, but
I know you guys have money.
like they have all the money. But yeah, so they already knew, despite what they said. And then, because they didn't appeal it or follow it up, the dispute was won by the other guy.
Mm-hmm.
So they would have been notified again. And this is all on public record. You can look this up. You can be like, yeah, that's when they were notified. And that's when they were notified a second time. So that obviously falls through. And in that same announcement where they were like, oh yeah, there's a trademark dispute. Because of that, we can't release the video until we've spoken to our lawyers. To which everyone was like, just remove the name of the game from the trailer. Show the video. Like, what are you talking about? Also, the Steam page was the only thing to go down. Twitter was still up. The website was still up. The publisher's website was still using the day before branding. Everywhere else, bar the Steam page, was using the branding. So if it's a trademark dispute, surely it would have been complete annihilation of the day before written anywhere that was in affiliation with the game. So that didn't happen. And in the same announcement, they go, oh, by the way, we're delaying the game till November. It's like, what? Okay. So then they did an interview. But wait, there's more. They did an interview with IGN.
Wait, there's more.
And then the interview with IGN, they were like, oh, we can see there's loads of people saying the game's fake, it's vaporware, it's not real, blah, blah, blah. Don't worry, we intended on delaying it anyway. And it's like, wait, what? So you only announced the delay because of this alleged trademark dispute that you apparently only found out a week ago, despite being notified at least twice beforehand. And you only decided to announce the delay now because of that, not because the game's due to be out in 2 months.
The thing is, with all that, is this shit happens. Like, all these individual things can happen to any game.
Yes.
It just goes crazy because you're making a game. But everything happened.
Yeah.
Like, all
Yeah.
the things happened. They
It
did
wasn't just
release
one
a game.
thing, it was all the things.
All of the things. And it's...
Can we talk about the new trailer?
Yeah, so they did the newest trailer. So they eventually were like, oh, hi, here's
I love that headline, by the way. It's so good.
That headline tickled me.
Don't call them like again while you're while they're down.
But playing on stream now is it looks like a side by side. So they're going to be showing the latest trailer. The latest trailer looks significantly downgraded compared to the vertical slices we've seen before. It's very empty.
The trailer we just saw that they just uploaded. If you saw that on Steam, you'd be like, oh, that looks cool. I'll check that out. But look at this comparison. You're playing it because like that initial thing just is so rich and full. Like I was watching the other trailer and I was like, oh, that doesn't look too bad. The lighting's nice and stuff like that. And then I checked the old announcement trailer. I was like, this is not right. And my brain informed me, do you know what this is? They've thrown this together. That's where the delays are coming from. That's why they're having legal issues, because they had to make this trailer from nothing.
Yeah.
They do not, that other game does not exist.
Yeah.
They had to make that from nothing. And that's why there's delays. Because there's a bunch of developers trying to throw this shit together. And to be fair, it looks okay. It looks okay. If they put that together in maybe 3 weeks, that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
But there wasn't a game before. This isn't a game because they've just thrown that shit together to show you something.
Yeah, I have 3 theories. Theory 1, they got a publisher behind them, and it's a scam within a scam. And what they've been doing is they're utilizing all the hype from the vertical slices where they make this perfect small level or zone or area of the game and use that to draw eyes onto their like social media platforms, things like that. And then they can go, oh, here's our app that we're making. Here's our other game that we've actually made and things like that. I think it is purely a marketing tool.
Who is their publisher?
It's I think it's a Korean one or something like that. It's like Matoya or something like that.
Games
They have
before?
published other games.
Proper games.
Okay, let me see. Well, I think I
Not
have
to
the same
gatekeep
game.
video games, but you know, proper games.
They're a big company. I remember looking into it, and they're a few million, I would say, at least. They're definitely not a small to medium enterprise. But yeah, they've definitely published games, and they are legit. So I'm also concerned about them. And I say concerned.
You did say it's on Steam.
Yeah, it's no longer on Steam at the moment. And to be fair, there's been no pre-orders, there's been no MTX or anything like
that's another
that.
thing that fucking Drake, like, they're not scamming people on a Kickstarter or nothing.
Yeah, that's why I think it's a marketing tool, or at least that's the first theory. The first theory is it's a marketing tool.
Shitty app. Like, come on.
People have done weirder things, dude.
I could believe this is all like this is some sort of marketing ploy.
Yeah. So that's the first theory.
I'm inclined to believe that.
The second theory.
You got a publisher behind you, get a hit this big, you can make this. You can actually make that.
I think they will make a game, like as part of theory one. I think we will get a game. But yeah, it'll be more of what we just saw and probably really shit. The second theory is, and this is just as valid, to be fair. This is just as valid. The second theory is they are monumentally stupid. And have actually made every single one of these disastrous mistakes, because their other games weren't trademarked either. So maybe they are just really bad, and the hype was too much.
Suddenly they got a lot of eyes on them. And
yeah, and they're panicking, they're floundering, they're making all these silly mistakes. They're doing a bit of a No Man's Sky, where they were like indie raised by indie raised by Sony. And then they start making these announcements and promises and stuff like that. So it could be one of that.
Okay, but No Man's Sky is now fucking amazing.
Yes, and they have bounced back, thankfully. But yeah, so that's the second theory. The third theory is I am absolutely bastardized right now. None of you are real, and it's all just a dream. That's the only thing it can be. Because again, it's just that fucking stupid, you know? But yeah, I'm leaning.
You exist. We had issues at the start. You exist.
I exist. We exist. Hope you're real. You're real.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
So it's such a weird thing. I mean, I'm glad for it because it's amazing content and how ridiculous it all is. But I also feel bad for the people who are getting really hyped. Like I saw the original trailer. I was like, oh, cool. I'll keep an eye on it for sure. This looks like it could be pretty sick.
Yeah.
But there's going to be people who are going to get really attached to it and they're going to feel burned. The moderator in their Discord actually posted a tweet. The same moderator who was like, oh, there's a Steam bug, blah, blah, blah. He actually posted a message in the Discord just saying, I haven't even seen the gameplay. I'm starting to doubt there is a game as well. And this was like a paid head moderator in their Discord who says this. So everyone's like, there's a field of red flags here. This is a bit sketch. So do you think it's a real game, Paul?
In my dreams.
In your dreams.
Yes. I don't know, because it's like the whole thing is just so sketch. Because I just went back to the Steam page to go look, and it's still down. So there's like no evidence that this game exists.
This new trailer that looked like that didn't look pre-rendered. That looked like gameplay. If you watch it, you can see little micro stutters when there are zombies spawning in. There are very few zombies. And because of these micro stutters when they pull in,
I was just looking at the trailer too while Brian was playing it. I didn't see a zombie.
There are a couple, not many, but there are a couple of zombies.
You don't see like more than 5 to 10 on screen at a time.
I think they have just attacked whatever they had put together in order to get like live rendered gameplay. Is they've had to tone down the zombies because they die really fast. I think that's why the textures look like absolute clown shoes.
That's true.
and the reason the lighting looks good,
Even the
and
character they use kind of looks
the
like
character,
Ellie too.
like she got cake. First of all, she got
Remarkably
cake.
tight pants.
Okay,
Yeah.
yes, absolutely.
What
she
is
does
the
have cake.
texture on her pants? Like what?
Oil.
Is she wearing rubber pants? She could be.
I
We don't
mean,
know. We don't
I'm not-
know. She could
I
be
can
wearing
attest
rubber
that rubber pants, latex pants, and leather pants very uncomfortable to be running around in. So
But what if that's the only pants you've got, Pulp?
I mean, you kind of
Just clawed them off the legs of a zombie.
Commando, dude. Just it's a zombie apocalypse. Who cares?
Yeah, I think we can all safely say it's definitely very, very suspicious.
Something does exist now, though.
Yes.
Something exists, but it's not what they originally announced.
But if they are as just crap as all the problems they've had that they've said they've had, let's say, allegedly,
Mm.
that could delay a game. And it's not outside of the realms of possibility that you make a pre-rendered thing to, hey, do you guys like this? Because then you can get investors on board,
Yeah.
and publishers will trust you more. Like, that's all these little things they do are not out of the scope of reality, and they might just be a little bit shit.
yeah,
And
that's
we
fair.
might get a game, but with all the
You'll
other
get
stuff
some,
on
we
top
might
of that,
get something eventually.
how much is a
because-
Rolex?
They're pretty expensive.
Usually a
I
couple
mean, I
of
don't know how
grand
much
at
they are
the low
now.
end, and then tens of thousands of grand.
It didn't look like a low-end Rolex, but I'm
I
not a
don't
Rolex.
know. I
expert.
mean, I know like my mom has one from like years and years ago. And I think she told me it was several, it was like 30K or something on that.
Like
But that
stuff
was
like
that's-
that. That could be your publisher goes, oh wow, people
Maybe
are
they took
really
out a loan
excited
for
this.
it.
Here's a bonus.
Wait, hold up. Maybe they took out a loan because they always wanted a Rolex. Maybe they financed it.
Yeah,
And they just want to be like, look at
all
me
these
flex.
things, it is possible that these things just happen because shit, life is life, and it is possible. And we have seen something that is running natively on a PC. So there is something.
There's a level.
They tried.
Like I said, I
There
do
is
think a game will
something.
come out, but yeah,
We'll
I
see.
think
I'm
it's going to be
leaning
more
towards.
what we just saw rather than what
Yeah,
we originally.
I think it will be a very crap game when it comes out. I hope it's not. I don't want
I think
it to
it'll
be
be
crap.
made. But the thing is, too, is like the idea of like another Z game where it's like it's open world. We already have so many of them at this point. It's very tired. So it's like even if it is decent gameplay wise, it's still a very, very like tired and done concept. And if people, I mean, it sounded cool, but like
I think a lot of the hype behind it was because it's not just run around shoot zombies. It's more survival, and like you've
Right,
got like the
and we
Tarkov
have
Luke
games like
where
that.
there's loads of like
It's
depth
supposed
and
to be the
modifications and
next
stuff.
evolution of zombie survival games.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
And that
Right.
first
And
trailer we
we
saw
have-
was that.
and we have zombie survival games, and
Yeah, this
sometimes
is
a
just
lot of
another one
indie
of
games did
those.
it way better.
Yeah.
Probably.
You could argue that for sure.
Well, I don't know. Maybe I don't want to say they did it better. I don't want to be rude, but you have a Rolex, I can dunk on you. I don't have a Rolex.
That's fair enough.
I don't have a Rolex either. Let's make a zombie game so we can get Rolexes.
All the
Yeah, right?
Rolexes.
That's how you get Rolexes.
So the
Yeah,
next,
that's how. Also, I live in LA,
Also,
so that's
this
how you
entire-
get mugged.
This entire section allegedly. Nobody
Very
knows.
alleged.
oh yes,
These are my,
yes.
and these are my
Please don't sue us.
probably wrong opinions, but I
They
think
got
it's
enough
fair.
legal
If you have a
trouble
Rolex on
already.
your hand,
Please don't
I
sue
can dunk
me.
on you.
This is all alleged.
You're not hurting.
But I think you're lying to us. Fantastic. Who's the
I
developer, by the
also
way?
think there are a lot of lies.
Hmm.
I think there are lies.
It's also
best
very
best
clear
case
that they don't live in
scenario.
an area where they have any concern of someone jumping them with that shit on their hand. I do.
They probably have
You don't want that on
bodyguards. The next topic of discussion is live service games getting shit canned in the last week. So we have lost,
Yay!
or
Sorry.
announcements have been made for the following, and this is not everything, but Apex Legends Mobile, Battlefield Mobile.
Oh, I thought I misread that as like actual like just Apex Legends.
No,
I missed
no,
the
Apex
mobile
Legends
part,
is
I'm like,
around still.
whoa!
Just the
Oh, that's
mobile
good, okay.
version. Crime Site, Crossfire X, which was a surprise for me. Dragon Quest: The Adventure of Dai, A Hero's
That one's not
Bond.
surprising to be honest.
Echo VR, Knockout City, and Rumbleverse. Now, there's three, I would say, that kind of surprises me. Apex Legends, I would have thought that was doing quite well. Like, usually the FPS mobile games do really, really well.
Yeah, because you have kids who usually play them.
Yeah, it's like the top played games are usually like PUBG Mobile, COD Mobile. I thought Apex Legends was up there with them, so I was quite surprised by that. Battlefield, not so much, because I imagine the latest game coming out just probably just upset so many Battlefield fans, they just moved off Battlefield.
Yeah.
Not familiar with Crime Site. Crossfire X is a kind of a weird one, because for those who don't know, Crossfire X, or Crossfire, is a game that started off in East Asian countries and is one of the most played games on the planet. So everywhere bar like the North Americas, maybe the South Americas and Europe, is playing the hell out of this game, whereas Crossfire X, which is like the port they brought to the West and put it on Xbox, no one cares about it. No one's playing it. And it's really weird because it's outside of our world. Everyone else is. So again, I was like quite surprised by that one. And Rumbleverse. Have you guys played Rumbleverse?
No.
I'm gonna
I
be
don't really
honest.
play a
I've
lot
never
of these.
heard of any of
I don't
these
play
fucking
any of these.
games.
Yeah, I have heard of Dragon Quest, but like when
Not
I
the
even saw
Adventure
that,
of Dire Heroes Bonds.
yeah, I don't think I've heard of that one. And honestly, that one doesn't surprise me at all because it is an older franchise that's been going on for like years and years and years, but I don't know how many people will be playing a game like that. You know?
That's fair. That's fair.
They're probably too busy with Genshin Impact.
I will never be happy that someone's game that they play is being taken offline.
Oh
when they
no,
can't
that
play it
sucks.
anymore.
That always
But-
sucks.
These are live services. These aren't games. Like live service doesn't work unless it grows organically, like your Fortnite or whatever.
Yeah, but they're also like marketing machines, and it's all the like Fortnite in particular. They know how
Are you
to
trying
market
to tell
their
me that
audience.
EA aren't a marketing machine?
But that's the thing. They have the capacity to do or replicate Fortnite. And Rumbleverse in some ways kind of did that. For those not familiar, Rumbleverse is was a battle royale that was wrestling, basically. It was a fighter battle royale. And people who enjoy fighting and beat 'em up games sang its praises. They were like, yeah, this is fun as hell. Everyone that I watched play it.
6 months.
Yeah, it's lasted like so short a time period, despite the fact that everyone that's played it seems to like it. So I'm guessing they just weren't retaining
I mean, it's
people.
also there's so many of these live service games anyway, too. I mean, I feel like people pick their like niche one that they like, and they kind of stick with that.
Yeah,
I just
And
if
that's my theory on all this. I don't think they were getting that much traction. or that
nobody's
much-
like going, oh, I want to play what live service game shall I play? No one's thinking
Yeah.
that, though, are they? Like it's.
I mean,
that's not why
I
you're
saw
there.
I saw this and I'm like I said, I don't, like I have like my mobile games on occasion that I'll play, but they're like the dumb time wasters. Like if I'm waiting on something and I'll be like, all right, I'll just kind of screw around. I'm never like going to sit there on my phone for hours and hours playing Apex Legends mobile or something like that. But that's just me. I don't really care.
Something is definitely
This
going
doesn't
on with
affect me in
EA.
any way, but it does suck if people who did like these games, don't have these games anymore. But I'm sure there's going to be something that either like is going to replace it eventually for them, or they can go.
One
can
of
go
these
Fortnite.
games is someone's favorite game for sure.
well,
Like that, and that sucks that they can just take that away from you.
and it does, and that's a good topic of discussion because obviously with live service games or online only games, things like that, once the servers are down, generally you can't play it anymore. You can try and make your own home or private servers. But if in those instances where you try to do that, someone like Nintendo comes knocking and goes, oi mate, behave. You can't play the game anymore.
No, they won't let you do that until it goes into abandonware. Nobody gives a shit about it.
That's how Nintendo Japan speak, by the way, with a British accent.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah,
That's what I was thinking.
But yeah, so
that was spot on, Brian. I'm actually surprised how just spot on.
I've been
How did
practicing.
you know?
I've been practicing. But yeah,
That's Brian. He's the one.
it's him. He's the
Yeah, we
secret
found him.
Nintendo man. But yeah, so
Jump them
it is
for the Rolex.
not again. But yeah, so it's a good point of discussion. Like, should developers or publishers, which is usually probably the main wall to get past, should they just say, you know what, have fun with it, do what Epic did with Paragon? Here's the assets. Make your own game out of the assets. Here's the stuff,
Oh fuck Epic! They took off Unreal. Epic is the house that Unreal built, and they.
It's okay.
That's not on the agenda today, Peachy. Ooh, okay.
Not today, but maybe one day. But yeah, so like,
Ooh.
it's obviously a bad thing that the games are getting taken off. Obviously, we've just said that we don't really go out of our way to go, ooh, that's the next live service game.
Yeah, you're not looking.
But we're not of the generation that was raised on live
like a lot of
service
these are
games.
mobile games too. I mean, the only time I even know about any new mobile games that come out is either if it's under like if it's like a series that's under on my radar.
Mhm.
You know, like for example, like I'm a huge fan of, like
Heresy
yeah, I'm a big
Legions.
fan of, like, the Nier franchise, so I played the Nier game. But, like, I don't know who's playing it, and it's not like it's yeah, it is live service, but whatever. I can play it by myself. It's you're not really playing with other people. So that's the only reason why I have that. But aside from that, whenever I go on the the mobile, the App Store because I have Apple, there's like I'll just see like, oh, they made this into a mobile game. There's another live service game. So a lot
But
of
these aren't all mobile games. That's the thing.
yeah, that's why I asked. Like, if I don't know if these are all mobile games, I'm just going based off of
Just
like my
Apex and
assumption.
Battlefield, I believe.
Yeah,
Oh,
as
okay,
far
then
as I'm
never
aware.
mind.
So
What's Echo VR?
So Echo VR is. Did you ever read the Ender Saga or the film that they did recently?
No, and oh wait, the Ender's Game?
Ender's Game, yeah.
Oh my God, yes.
So
but
you know
what's
the
got
battle
card
they're having where they're
terrible, so,
floating
like-
around, like in 0G, and they've got to like score a goal or something like that. It's basically
didn't-
that.
Okay, I didn't know that, but I mean, we already talked about how like I mean, I don't have a
Rolex.
a VR, so I don't have a Rolex either. So I kind of like VR games. I'll see it like on Steam or wherever. I'm like out because I don't have it, so it's like what good is that going to do me?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so
I do have it, and I do almost the same thing. I'm like, what's this gonna do to be different?
yeah,
You know, how is this gonna entertain me
I don't
more
want to
than I
almost
can
break
just
my
play a
hand
game?
again personally until I move.
Yeah,
I
fair.
can't.
That's valid.
and I can.
It's a
After you
valid
move,
concern. I
You
kind
just
of need
break
my hand.
every bone, and you're good, right?
You'll
That's how it
never play a
works.
game again.
Get for playing next to a record player and not being able to see anything.
But Echo VR, I
don't
can
get along very
understand
well with
like getting shut down because one, it was a very niche game in a niche platform. Like VR is, there's a paywall to get through before you can even play any of the games. So that one I can kind of get. But the fact that all of these have gone down in like the space of a week, one or two of them being relatively big, and one of them, at least Rumbleverse, being at least commercially successful in terms of how it was
That is
perceived.
commercially successful.
Like
successful, or is it
everyone like
critically successful.
yeah, critically
So-
successful, but like it for some reason just they've shut it down. Like, was it just not retaining people? Like, what's going on? Why have all of these been canned all at the same time? And it could be, oh, it's just the financial year and they've made some hard decisions, but it just seems a bit weird that there's this sudden turn from mobile and things like that.
Or EA got sick of being labeled the most evil company in America, passed that off to Ubisoft, because they have done some things that are not very EA.
I was actually gonna segue
Please do, please
into the
do,
next
because
topic.
I have notes about EA not being EA, which is incredible.
Yeah, so EA, for our next topic, they've gone back to playing single player games after saying that single player was dead. So they've gone with the Jedi games, for example. Their single player, they've done extremely well.
Yeah, I actually just started playing that. Remember, I said I have my homework. I'm doing my homework. It's good.
Another thing that they have announced, it was a part of an interview. This article is on VGC and it was written by Chris Scullion. Wild Hearts will have free post-launch content and no microtransactions.
That's dope.
None. Zero.
We'll see if they actually hold to that.
The
Because I'm
people
actually
that
looking
own
forward to Wild
FIFA.
Hearts. That looks like a really cool game.
The people that own FIFA, Madden, whatever the other sports games are, that are literally money-making machines that are basically gambling.
Maybe they realize they have like their FIFA and their Madden. They're like, these chumps are gonna buy it anyway. Do you really think these guys are gonna pay all this extra? Like, well, I don't know. There's a lot of microtransactions and like.
I buy Formula One every year. I can't really comment.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think I used to work at a GameStop years and years ago when I was a lot younger, and the amount of times when like FIFA, the new FIFA or Madden would come out, the amount of dude bros that would come into the store going like, "Yo, new FIFA out?" No. So those are money makers. People love them, and then you can't trade them in because No one wants the older version from 3 years ago.
Right.
Chump.
And that's the thing. Like they've gone from having these money making machines, like the FIFA games and stuff like that. They're literally some of their biggest money making games.
Mhm.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I suspect the reason for this is because obviously Wild Hearts is very, very similar to the Monster Hunter series, and the Monster Hunter series doesn't do microtransactions, so they're trying to
They have
appeal
like
to that same crowd.
costumes and stuff like that. There is like a lot of things like that on, and they have like expansions, which I'm assuming they'll
Yeah,
still
but
do
Yeah,
this
so
expansions.
they do
doesn't say no
expansions.
DLC.
Yeah,
It
Yeah,
says
no,
there's no microtransactions.
yeah.
yeah,
So
no. So I mean, that's fine. I think the only thing is like just but with and well, I mean, did they say it for a fact that Wild Hearts is just gonna be single player, or is it still gonna have?
I know it's co-op and whatnot as far as I'm aware.
Okay, that's what I figured. I was gonna be surprised if it wasn't,
But it's
because
not going to be a hop onto my live service and join a game, and if this server
Right.
goes down, you can't play our game.
I mean,
anymore.
I'm hoping they hold to their word on that one, because I actually really am looking forward to Wild Hearts. The more
Yes,
I've seen
same.
about it, it looks really cool.
It
We'll
does.
play it together.
It looks
So,
very
Maybe
tough.
maybe we could get Peachy in.
Yeah.
Me and the boys.
I've played a Monster Hunter.
Once.
I've done a Monster Hunter before.
Yeah, I played Monster Hunter World. Didn't try out
I
Rise.
played World. I played Rise. What I like about Rise in comparison is that it's
The
kind of
Switch
more like
one?
accessible to doing like co-op sooner and it feels like a little smoother. But I mean, I think World's a lot better.
Yeah.
So I'm actually looking forward to this.
To answer your question, Peachy, it was Switch initially, then it got ported to PC, but obviously with it being a port of a Switch game, it's noticeably less graphical compared to World.
Yes, it is. Well, here's the thing. When I played Rise,
I only
was
care
playing
about
it with-
graphics.
I played it with my fiance and everything, and he didn't know it was a Switch game at first. And I told him, I was like, "Yeah, it looks like a Switch game, man. Like you there, because of just the limited graphical capabilities. Because I have Switch, I have 2 Switches, and I play. And I know everyone dunks on Nintendo for their like, for their graphics, but I mean, they're more about like innovative. I feel like the hardware. You could put it on the dock and all that shit. So when I play
Put it on
Monster
the
Hunter
dog?
Rise, dog. Oh, you put it on the doggy. Yeah.
And the dog runs out, and you go,
so-
no.
There is a dog in Rise, which is great.
What is happening?
But anyway, so
I'm so
when you play it, you can see like there's a lot less like, for example, there's a lot less variety in some of the monsters. Like, it's a lot of like I feel that they look like palette swaps or whatever. But like the areas aren't as big as in World, and there's not as much like foliage, and just it looks like it was on the Switch.
Well,
Yeah.
did
And
seem
it doesn't
huge.
necessarily mean it's a bad thing. Like it runs cool as hell. So like most people would probably be able to play that if Monster Hunter World bottlenecks their computer too much.
Yeah.
So
Mm.
it's not.
Yeah, not
it's
everyone's
really
running
it's not a bad
top-end
game at all.
rigs.
I
are
did
they?
get Daybreak and I never got around to playing it. Oops.
Something else about EA. Sims 4. They announced without any, hey, look how amazing we are. They announced a lot of really cool fucking stuff. Medical wearables, binders, shapewear, hearing aids, insulin patches, top surgery. They just kind of went, hey, here's stuff with the new update. And they didn't do what you would expect EA to do, to go, we're so great. Look at us. Look what we did.
Right.
They didn't do any of that, which is not very EA.
That is not very EA. You're right.
I think.
See, you always expect to see like the main.
Yeah,
like,
look how
in
great we
Will
are.
Smith
And that
me.
just
It was
pisses
Will
me
Smith
off.
me,
I'm
right?
like, you should be by default, dickheads.
I suspect they're
Yeah.
probably a lot more self-aware of what would happen, and the fact that most of those ideas were already in the game in the form of mods, and they've essentially gone, oh, we'll just bring these mods in natively, effectively.
3-year anniversary of the Sims franchise.
Yeah, so it would have been really
Oh, yeah.
awkward of us to go, look at all the stuff we made, and then the mod community and everyone that plays the games and knows of the mod community goes, yeah, you just stole our shit. What are you doing? You can't take praise for this. So that's probably why they were being a bit more humble or modest about it.
Yeah, but that's still
I think,
not
but I
very. They
do
all
think,
do
like,
that shit anyway.
I do think what Peachy said had he's on to something on the fact like maybe they don't want to be the hate anymore. Like, come on, guys, like
Maybe
this for once.
Oh yeah,
They
that's what I'm
want
saying.
to
Maybe
They
they're
become
tired of being the villain. Maybe this is their redemption arc.
Look at the state of Ubisoft at the moment. Like, they don't want to be that.
Oh yeah,
Nobody wants to be
No,
Ubisoft.
yeah, no one wants Ubisoft at the moment. But yeah, I
also,
think they've become
they-
self-aware.
They did this remaster. It's not a remaster. Renovation. That's a better name for it. Of Dead Space, and they barely fucked with it. They didn't put in stupid online only shit. They didn't put in
Yeah.
tons of microtransactions. There is a
I've heard
DLC
about all
for it.
that.
They can I talk about Dead Space remake?
Absolutely, because I'm going
Yeah,
to play it next.
it's a remake.
I would like to
Yeah,
hear
go for it.
all your thoughts and
It's-
feelings.
Okay, they took the original game. I love the original Dead Space. I think it's a really good scary game, and they updated it. It's more modern, but they didn't fuck with it. They made it
That's good.
scarier by they're using
that's wild.
something called what's it called? Intensity Director. So to keep things feeling dangerous and scary, like the game will just go, do you know what? It's time to give you an enemy or a jump scare or whatever. Or even they fake out with it as well. I think it's called a number 13 bus from an old movie or something. But they'll be like, oh, Jabo! Nothing. There's nothing here. Ha! And you're like, what?
I believe that's what the game's doing to you too. Like there is like somewhere of a narrator just saying, "Ha ha! No, not today."
Not today.
I hadn't. It wasn't that long ago I played the original one, but this one looks better. The lighting is just. There is some RTX going on there
I'm
somewhere.
excited because I played Callisto Protocol, and I mean we already know what happened with that when it came out, and I know that the theory that they were trying to get it out before Dead Space, and I was a little concerned about the Dead Space remake because like, oh man, it's EA, that's right, they're gonna screw it.
Well,
So I did see ahead of time that it's actually it is pretty decent, so that's why I picked it
they've
up.
expanded the story without fucking with the main story. They have
awesome.
side missions that do like there's a couple of Dead Space comics and little bits and pieces here. That was canon. They've put that in the game in a very not in a like, oh look at the thing. It's just there. You can find these side missions and stuff. An issue I did have was that Isaac talks. Now in the first one, Isaac can't talk. I think he has a radio issue or something. And I'm like, oh no, they're doing this. But he only talks when the other people are talking. So it's not them just saying, Isaac, go to floor 12 and do the thing. They're actually having a conversation, and it's really well acted.
Right.
They have this intensity director. They also have a bunch of difficulty modes, like the old one, but they've also introduced what I like to call gaming press easy mode, right? It's just the story. It's not difficult to go through, which is fine. If someone wants to experience the game, they can. I don't have a problem with that because I'm going to play on whatever level I want. So you should too. They also have got New Game Plus, so you can play it again. And in New Game Plus, only in New Game Plus, not in the original playthrough, in New Game Plus, you can get another ending. So anything they want to add to this game, they have not forced it down your throat. They have not said, look at me, look at me. They have, this is the best remaster I have ever played.
That's good to hear, man.
Yeah.
I'm looking. See, I like it when there is a New Game Plus. They add incentive for you to play it. Then just like, you can start again and get all the gear, or with just all your gear, and you're vastly overpowered. I would prefer it's like where when games have like there's another ending that you can unlock. There's more like side missions that will come out. So that's great that they did that. That's really great they did that.
I was hunting around going, oh, I want ammo or whatever. And I'm like finding all these side missions. I'm like, there's side missions? They've also got something, I can't remember what they call it, but you can actually get warnings for when there's going to be horror stuff.
Okay.
So if you play on story mode, which is a bit easier, I don't think Intensity Director is on then. And then you can turn on these warnings for when something fucked up is going to happen.
Right.
That's actually kind of nice.
They
I mean,
haven't
they might
removed any fucked up stuff. It's more fucked up because it's more modern and real, right? EA, I don't know what's happening to EA. I'm like, up is down, left is right.
I'm scared. Mom, can you come pick me up? I'm scared.
Yeah,
it's acting normal. Isn't acting normal.
If you haven't played Dead Space, play this one. This is the one to play. If you have played the other one and you love the other one, you will enjoy this. You will enjoy this.
I'm probably gonna do that when I start streaming games again.
Very
so that
good.
But
Pulp, don't you put on the warnings for the horror?
I won't.
Don't you? I want to watch you terrify.
I usually try to be a big man. I try to be the big man and go like a harder difficulty and try to be like, I ain't scared, and then I get scared a lot.
I'm scared. I'm not playing it.
If anyone see my Alien Isolation playthroughs, it's
definitely
very bad
scarier
how
than the
scared
first
I do
one.
get.
even after
But
playing
yeah,
it through
the
multiple
first one
times. It's
wasn't that
good.
scary for me because I did play it a lot later. Like I didn't play it on release, and I kind of was going through. It's like you've already played enough horror games where it's like, I this is chump change. Like man, this ain't scary. So if they made it scary, that's great. But I mean, it's really not that hard to scare me anyway. So
I didn't
I just
know
like to
about
pretend.
the accessibility thing,
Mm.
to warn you of like scary moments and stuff like that. Obviously, there's going to
That's
be
good
some
for
crowd that's going to jump up
that's
and be
good
like,
for I would think because like I mean I for example I have like pretty bad anxiety. I get kind of
Yeah.
not even horror games like will scare me. Something will pop out and I'll get scared. I don't know why. It's
Mm.
just like I'm always on edge. So if a game is kind of like a little too like high intensity for that or high tension, that isn't a bad idea for people like me who are like
The good thing about us who
I don't like
don't
jump
want
scares.
that is that shit is still in the game and untouched
Yeah.
and still going to
Okay.
do that stuff.
it's an option.
Like that is
It's an
just an
option.
option.
I appreciate that. That's not a bad idea when you put it into that the grander scheme of like there are people who just don't like to be scared.
But
Maybe
more
they
than
have a
that,
heart
There's a
condition.
bunch
yeah,
of
there's
other
people with
stuff in
heart
there,
conditions like pacemakers, stuff like that, where like a massive shock or
Yeah, you don't want to
like
hear
jump
somebody
scare
like die
could
playing your game
potentially
because
kill
they had
them.
a heart
Yeah,
attack.
exactly.
Yeah,
So
I
now,
don't care about that stuff. I don't need to be told about that stuff, but I have no problem with
Well, it's
you
not for
having an
you.
option that some people can have.
yeah,
And I think that's really
Mm.
just the way they've handled this entire thing is not very EA. And do you know what? That's it. That's all you're getting because
golf clap.
there's Formula One shit that I'll get onto later. But EA are doing something, and I'm scared. And I'm scared that EA
Well,
are
come
trying
pick
to
me
be
up.
good.
I'm scared.
Yeah, exactly.
Something's going on with EA.
I think they've just learned from all the weirdo.
Like I said, maybe they're done with their villain arc.
Yeah,
Maybe they are done.
I don't think they're down with the villain arc. I think they just
No, they like money.
They're just
They like
more
money.
prepared. Like,
But they could like money and be like, well, we won't be entirely douchebags again.
I
Maybe,
think
I do
let's
well
try
from that,
this.
and I think they
Maybe
need to
it'll
be
make us
applauded.
more money.
they're
That's what I'm
exactly
thinking.
the
I think they're more
same.
of the idea of like maybe it'll make them more money by acting nice because
Yeah.
we'll all go. It's kind of like the abusive boyfriend where you're kind of like, oh, he's changed. He's not going to do it again. Then they
There
do
is
it
the
again.
possibility that they are still absolute douchebags.
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
it's
that's
so
my theory is that I think they're doing that. Like maybe they're trying to like ease you in. They'll be like, you made me do this.
But if that means we get cool sim shit, a great remake, single player games, less
Yeah.
microtransactions, that's a good thing. So
Hey man, I'm not complaining. I won't
I don't know.
complain.
We'll see.
I don't trust EA still.
Yeah, no, I don't trust them
That's
yet.
the
But in order to be trustable, this is the path they need to go down.
Yeah.
Well, that's it's always like don't say you're gonna change, do the change. It's like
100%.
YouTube apology. Like don't say you're sorry, change.
And that's
Let's
what they've
see-
done.
Yeah. And
They
Maybe,
haven't
maybe
gone,
they
"Oh,
did-
we're gonna
they
be
had
good."
they had their gray hoodie. They did their YouTube apology, and they're gonna change. We'll see.
Yeah, I agree with Pichu where he says like it should be applauded because if you don't applaud it, then they'll be like, well,
Yeah, no,
why did
I'm
you bother then?
absolutely
It's absolutely incentivized by money. Like at the end
Oh,
of the day,
totally.
they're still EA, but they've just become aware of how they market it now.
I think it wouldn't be a bad idea to just at least be wary that it
Oh
might.
yeah,
be just
like
It's a lot easier to market yourself as not a piece of shit if you're not a piece of shit.
yeah,
That's very true. Yes. So in the case with EA, they have a lot of work ahead of them to make sure people don't think that they're a piece of shit. That's what I'm trying to say. So
Yeah.
right now it's like, yeah, we're doing one thing. Okay, so that's one thing. But what else are you going to do? Because you can only if you only just do this with Wild Hearts, then what about everything else? Because we already know about your FIFA.
yeah, 100%.
That's my theory. That's my opinion on it.
We're low on time, so I'll quickly go over the last two subjects, and then we'll go into the second half. In the second half, we'll be covering some things that Peachy wanted to discuss, and then what games we enjoyed back in 2022. But for now, there is we mentioned it earlier. Hi-Fi Rush got shadow dropped. Holy shit, that looks sick.
Yes,
It's on
I
Game
was telling
Pass.
you guys earlier. I work with like some game like transcribing and shit like that, and I saw the trailer before it got shadow dropped. I can say it now, and I was like, this kind of looks a little bit like Metal Hellsinger, like just like the rhythm aspect.
Yeah,
But it was cute. Like I'm like, oh my god, they're all babes. The sound, the licensing that they got for the music, like they got some really good. It looked really cool, and then it came out And I saw how like I went on Steam, it's overwhelmingly positive. Like, what the hell happened? But it's also it's also a lot more it's affordable too. And you could tell like when they did the announcement too that they really cared about what they were working
Yeah.
with. It sounds fun. I'm looking forward to check it out.
Yeah,
I'm
I
usually
intend
a
on checking it.
naysayer, but it looks kind of neat.
Well, it's come out on Game Pass, so it's free essentially if you've got Game Pass. It's $30 on Steam, I believe, or other platforms.
Yeah, I have it on Steam.
Everyone that I've spoken to that's played it has said there's been no bugs. It's polished as how it's perfect. The licensed music is really, really good, but for streamers, very, very dangerous. But apparently the streamer mode that plays obviously a more original soundtrack is apparently really, really sick as well. So
Nice.
I'm looking forward to playing it both off and on stream. But yeah, it looks fantastic. I'm very much looking forward to
If
checking
anything,
it.
as a streamer, it gives you more incentive to play it more than once because
Yeah.
now you get to see like how it is without the licensed music and then with it.
Yeah, exactly. Are you going to be playing it, PG?
So I only heard about it when it got dropped. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, it was
And
a
then
shadow
you
drop.
mentioned it.
That's when
was it.
when it came out.
Yeah,
like I
exactly.
said, I worked on the trailer and they even said that it's coming out. It was the announcement, and at the end of it, he says that it's out now, and so I couldn't
wonder
say
why it was
anything
dropped
about
like
it
that.
because of that, because nobody knew, no one was supposed to know.
It's,
Yeah.
it's
Why?
what Apex Legends did as well. They just went, here you go.
Nah.
If it wasn't on
that's-
Game Pass,
sometimes
I
that's a
don't think they
good
would have done
move.
it. If
That's
it-
a good marketing move.
Oh, they
for
wanted to
people.
get it on Game Pass and they don't have time to build the hype train.
No,
Like, hey, let's drop it.
no, I think because the reason Apex Legends worked is when they shadow dropped it, it's free to play. So it's like,
Yeah.
here's our game, go play it. It's out now, go for it.
Yeah, but also the game's pretty inexpensive too. Plus, it's on Game Pass.
Yeah,
so
which is what I'm
you either can
saying.
Play it
It's
for free.
yeah, most
or
people
you
have
can-
Game Pass, so they go, here you go. It's essentially just been dumped on you for free. Check it out, and
Yeah, and most likely, like if a developer tells you, "Hey, this game we're just talking about now is like out now," I mean, what do you? Most likely,
can't-
you're probably gonna at least look into it.
There isn't a hotter iron to strike, is there? Oh, it's out now. There you go.
yeah,
Yeah.
it,
No, I
it
think
wouldn't
that's
work all the
maybe-
time. It
it's a
wouldn't work all the
So
time.
you're saying it's really polished and stuff. Maybe there's no money for. Maybe they were like, okay, we have to cut the budget because of reasons. That happens all the time. We can't advertise this. Let's just drop it.
I think it
And
will
all the money
be
goes into the game.
a combination of the studio that made it. It was a smaller studio. I believe they're called
Yeah.
Tango. They've made
Yeah.
other games in the past that are completely different as well. Like the genre that they've gone from and to opposites almost.
I think they even said that they wanted to do something that was a little bit more upbeat because a lot of games right now are coming out. They're all so like they're so gritty and dreary sometimes
Yeah.
and over the top. And it's
Not
like
the shit
sometimes
I
it's
play,
nice
dude.
I know. And it's like sometimes it's nice to have like you could see it's like well I want to have like something kind of fun for everybody.
Yeah.
Not everyone. I like that. I like playing games that are just feel good like Power Wash Simulator, man. It's just power washing.
Oh,
Yeah.
new DLC. It's
Oh,
good.
I saw it. I saw
Good.
it.
It's
Yeah,
real
it's a-
good. Oh, also the maze in the DLC is exactly a 1-to-1 creation of the maze from is it 3 or 4? It is the maze. It's yeah.
That's dope.
Power Wash Brian. Power Wash Simulator. I'm telling you, Dad.
I've heard,
games are
I've
so
heard,
much
dude.
fun.
I've absolutely
it's so
heard.
much fun.
You can clean walls, Brian.
Lawnmower Simulator comes out on
That
Game
is
Pass.
also really good.
I
Uh,
did play
hashtag ad
Lawnmower
'cause I got a key
Simulator,
for that.
and that one was very technical for me. I mean, I felt like I needed to have a pair of balls to play that, so I was like, I'm not a dad. So, I also live in an apartment in California where we don't really have a lot of lawns. So I'm going
I
like, I,
played
didn't know
it
this shit
with
was so technical, man.
I have a
But
bit
it
of a
was really
sim rig
cool.
with a steering wheel, and I played it with a steering wheel, and it worked, and it was great.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. I like that.
Just for time, I'll quickly touch on the other subjects. The other ones was The Last of Us Episode 3. It's a little bit controversial. I won't give spoilers, but it's only controversial if you're a bigot, so get over it. Have you guys watched it yet?
No, I said earlier I still have to get HBO again.
Right.
I canceled at some point. I don't remember when, and I've been meaning to pick it up again. And I mean, I keep hearing really good things about Last of Us, so I mean, I might as well check it out.
Yeah, I definitely recommend it. Episode 3 was absolutely fucking fantastic.
love it.
I
I
also love
can't
Nick
stop
Offerman, and I
watching
had
it.
no idea he was in it.
Sorry, say again, Paul.
I said I also didn't know Nick Offerman was in it, and
I
love
didn't
it,
either.
So
Yeah, it was
yeah,
a-
I think I saw like something on my YouTube recommended where he was in an interview for Last of Us. I was like, what?
I
Ron
didn't,
Swanson?
I didn't even
I
know
have a
until
Ron Swanson
the
tattoo,
episode
so
started and his
if it's-
character showed up. I was like, oh shit, it's you. Oh, cool. And then
It's-
the character
it's
he plays, I
Ron.
was like, holy shit. But yeah, amazing episode. There was one more thing before we go on our break. Now, in the agenda doc, I've put it as the stupid fucking microphone gimp mask thing. Do you guys know what I'm talking about?
I'm
Yes,
getting
yes,
it.
Yes.
Have you seen it, Paul?
I've seen it. I'm gonna get it.
Like,
Clearly, I need to do more with my hands. And who needs to see your?
for audio only
Like,
listeners,
I'm an adult, I'm an adult.
Peachy
I'm an
and I have
adult.
just fallen off our chairs.
I mean,
Yeah.
come on, man. You might actually bring in a new type of audience if you're wearing that. Like, you can go Bane in it, dude.
So,
Great.
I'd
You
like
being-
to say that all microphones in headsets and stuff like that fucking suck. Anything that can cut out the audio from anywhere else is a good thing, but it looks fucking stupid, and I would never put that on my face.
I'm trying to see
No,
if I
I
can
mean, unless
find
you
out
are
where it
really
is.
into like a Bane cosplay, and then you could put a piece over it. That'd be kind of neat.
It's very
It's very rectangular.
It looks like
Japanese businessman.
it looks like the tip of a thumb drive or a flash stick, like where you've taken it off and they've gone, let's make it bigger in a 3D printer or a plastic printing machine, and then just gone onto your face, and it's just like, why? Like,
It looks
like when-
dumb.
it's
but
essentially
reminds me a
if it
bit.
makes the audio better,
it's essentially the same
I mean,
shape
if
as
it
a
makes
VR
the audio better,
headset.
it's
that's
exactly the same
fine.
shape
Yeah,
as
it's
a
a-
fucking
dude,
headset.
It goes in your
I was
mouth.
actually gonna say to you, like, imagine if you had a white VR headset and you put that shit on.
What they actually showed that in the marketing, and the guy looked
That's
like an
hilarious.
absolute twat. It's just like, why? And it looks uncomfortable because it doesn't.
It is very twatty. I appreciate. I respect that.
The thing
I
is,
mean,
like, you're not
it's a
wearing
cool-
it to
it's
go
cool
hang
and-
out with people.
Here's when I believe it actually would be decent. It's like I know, like in certain, like in like Korea and other countries, like internet cafes are still a big thing, and it's likely that that would be very useful for something like that. And then just put like a medical mask on it. You're fine. I'm not gonna knock anyone's kink. Let's just say that.
Yeah,
But I mean,
the
it's
thing
it's,
is, not
it's
everyone
useful.
has fancy microphones and an audio treating, and they live in noisy places. And
Yes.
if I'm hearing someone talk in a game, I don't mind, but I don't want to have horrific mic quality. That will give you better mic quality, but
Yeah.
it looks like a human horse feeder.
Yes, essentially. It looks. I'm trying to find it, but for some reason I
Oh
can't.
my
but
god, can I put snacks in there? Okay, sold. Never mind.
Oh my god. Oh, dude, you could just have like a trough, like a horse
Like,
trough.
chuck
No.
Jaffa cakes in there.
no, this is an awful idea. Because could you imagine how much of a
Hey, no,
hygiene
wait.
like
We're
problem
trying
that's going to
think
be
outside the
already?
box here. We can make this good.
No, we couldn't. It is stupid. It is so
It's
beyond
better than
stupid.
the microphone from the headset. It's
How
going
would
to
you
be
get a
better
Jaffa
quality.
cake in there? They're. I mean, would probably like.
I will find a way, Paul.
Oh my
Yes.
god! All I just think of is like mukbangers.
I could put my
who really
vape
like that
in
shit.
there. Fucking just.
You'll sound like Bang with that.
Well,
You're just-
oh my god, no,
that'd be
Brian.
great.
It looks stupid, but it's a genius idea, and I applaud.
Oh
Whoever
yes,
fucking
I'm
invented
wearing
that
a
dumb
USB
looking-
There you
lid
go.
over my face.
Yeah, but it doesn't sound like that. The
I know
microphone
the
isn't gonna sound
intent
like that.
behind it, but if I was to look at this seriously, I would first and foremost say the design is awful. It's
It's
gargantuan.
terrible.
It's a hygiene nightmare, and
Yeah.
it doesn't look like it's actually taking into account that your face moves.
I
your
think it
chin
might be
moves, it's just-
beneficial for people like I'm one of those very like just expressive people in general, and it's like, man, if I want to like give a nasty look the whole time when I'm playing my game, like there you go.
Have you ever tried to stream VR?
Yes.
Yes, that's how I almost broke my
It's-
hand.
It's really difficult without a lav mic. I'm gonna
Mm.
get one and stream VR. Half-Life Alex full playthrough with the GIMP mask.
There you go. I mean, you could do things with it too, where you can like, if you're into like cosplay or something, that might not be a bad idea. If some people are really into,
Looking like a
elaborate cosplay,
twat.
like looking like.
what are you
yes, looking
cosplaying
like
as? A twat.
I don't know. I'm trying to think of like my assumption would be like if you're like in like I know for example in I don't know if it is as big of a deal now, but in like Korea, like in South Korea, there's a lot of internet cafes.
Yeah.
And I'm sure if you want to talk on the microphone, like even with push to talk, you're gonna be like getting all this all these other people around you talking.
To be fair, the equipment they often have in those establishments, especially in like say Taiwan, Taipei, just East Asian countries in general, because it's a different culture, they take it a lot more seriously, and the equipment they have is usually quite high end anyway. So you'd have noise cancelling headphones and things like that with noise cancelling mics as well. So I think it's more of a gimmick, and if anything, they're probably going, look at our stupid microphone. It looks stupid, but while you're here looking at the stupid microphone, look at the things that are behind the stupid microphone that don't look so stupid, you know? In the same way that you get a £1,000 monitor stand from Apple, you know? Like you go and look at the stupid
thing is, Brian, a headset is stupid. You just look, it's dumb. You look like a fucking idiot. It's more of the same. Like, look, okay. The only cool thing about that is you're playing VR, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, but it's
Actually, you
on
know
my
what? Kind of
mouth.
like you know what actually just kind of made me
Full
think
headset.
of is some people don't have like smaller faces or bigger faces. Like, do you think that'll fit someone like Shaq?
Can we get a quote of that, please, for merch? Some people don't have smaller faces or bigger faces.
They just have faces.
I have like the baby head problem, so I don't like. I'll get lost in it. It will be my VR headset.
It is stupid, but I
It's
can
silly.
see
It
where
is
it would
silly.
be useful.
It is silly, but I will buy it.
I will buy 3 of them.
I will get all of them.
I can't. I
I'll
don't
stock
remember
in
how
it.
much they said
Strap
the
them to my body.
MSRP
Just get
is.
stock in it.
You
Oh, yeah,
realize
that's the
it's
point. How much is it?
yeah, it's probably like $200 or something
no way it's
stupid. I
200.
bet it will
There's
be.
no.
It'll
If
be
it's 200
something
bucks,
stupid.
With a
I'd be
microphone in
insulted.
it.
I'll be insulted.
I'll try and find out for next time. But yeah. So speaking of next time, should we roll the break and get a stretch, get a drink, get some foods,
Mm-hmm.
and then move on to
Yeah.
part 2? Sounds good.
Let's do it.
Ladies and gentlemen, go stretch your legs. We'll be back in around about 5 to 10 minutes, and we'll start with the next half of the show. See you shortly. Part 2. Welcome back, everyone, to the show. So in part 2 of the show, we're going to be talking a lot about games that we've played in the past. There's also 2 subjects that Poochie wanted to discuss. Should we lead with the sim racing and then finish on the Warhammer
Well,
stuff?
that does actually touch on EA. There's been a couple of things in sim racing, which is like, what the fuck is happening to sim racing?
Right.
EA related F122. So like PSGL, which is like the league, it's not the full professional esports section, but the leagues, they, there are prize pools and stuff like that. They've got drivers going faster than F1 esports.
Mhm.
There's cheating happening.
Right.
Because F1 22 does not seem to have any decent anti-cheat. And there's a lot of money in this lower end of competitive racing. ESGL is announced a new game, and there's a prize pool of like $250,000. This is not like just your multiplayer lobby. Someone's using aim hacks or something. So that's like dodgy.
Right.
We've got Williams esports during the iRacing Daytona 24. Cheating, alleged cheating. The pole was taken by Williams because they used the apron. No, you're not allowed to do that in Daytona, which is the circle one, Brian. It's where they go around in a circle.
I know. I used to play Formula 1 games back in the day.
Okay, well, Formula 1 isn't Daytona.
They did similar like oval shaped maps and stuff.
Yeah. So like speedways, American NASCAR type racing, but with Formula 1 type cars. And Williams put out a non-apology, one of those that corporations do, saying, well, we had to because we have sponsor obligations.
Right.
And everyone's like, fuck off.
We're sorry you felt that way.
Yeah. And this was in the top split. This is the top, the fastest people in iRacing. They all have sponsors. This is proper sim racing. And they didn't give back their win. They even got Jensen Button to comment on people saying stuff. I don't think Jensen Button really knows what's going on, but he's an ambassador,
Right.
which is really sad to see because Jensen Button is a goat. The big thing though is the Le Mans Virtual 24. So it's a 24-hour endurance race with sim racers. You have a car with a team and you switch over your drivers, right?
Yeah.
Now you've got like actual races in there, like Roman Grosjean and Max Verstappen, who is a current reigning F1 champion. And they were actually, so what happened during races, there were like some disconnects and like a bunch of cars were going out and then coming back in. The thing is, if you drop out during a lap, you lose that lap and then you lose the next lap. So you're losing 2 laps. That happened early on, and it was like, okay, we lost 2 laps, but you know, it's a marathon, not a sprint, 24 hours, right?
Right.
Then they had a red flag. They had to pause the race because they got DDoS attacked.
Oh.
Yeah.
So all on online servers.
Yes, well, this is an official, like the Le Mans Virtual 24. Like R Factor 2 has the rights to do that virtual sim race.
Right.
Like, they have bought the rights to. They are the official Le Mans 24-hour.
Right.
And they didn't have anything in place in case that happened. They had to move on to another server. Everyone's rightly pissed. Now, the problem with online racing is there are disconnects here and there. Shit happens. But this was happening consistently. And the reason it's gotten so big is because the number 1 car, which was the red line car. This is Max Verstappen's car. Like Max fucking Verstappen, right?
Yeah.
They're in the lead, comfortably in the lead, so I'm told. And they disconnected and they lost a bunch of laps and they were in 16th place. So they retired the car. And Max Verstappen, I quote, said, "You cannot call this event. It's a clown show."
That's pretty big.
It's pretty bad.
The star of the show basically says this is fucked.
Yeah. I mean, he's not. There are better racers. He is a very good racer, and like him going into sim racing, I think is only a good thing for sim racing. And he's an emotional driver, so shit happens. But he's right. Like, all the other games, all of the other big games, like iRacing and that, like they put stuff into place that you can't DDoS. The biggest event, like Le Mans 24, is the biggest sim racing event. Like, it's not like anyone can join. You have to be fast enough to be on a team.
Right.
Like, it's not a peanut nothing. Like, Max Verstappen is there, for fuck's sake.
Yeah,
He's got like a full rig and stuff. He drives actual cars. And yeah, it's gross. It's disgusting. Yes, DCs happen, but this is 100% R Factor's fault. The company who runs the event also owns R Factor and the rights to do Le Mans, and no one else can do that. And then when we get the 24-hour race that other people can join, Williams start pulling some shit. And yeah, sim racing is currently, with cheating, online cheating, and major events being just like this was on like on cable, on sports shows on cable. This is a big thing. And on the main stage, this happens to sim racing. And to be honest, R Factor 2 are kind of shitting on sim racing right now.
Yeah, so the thing with the most eyes on it, like, are they doing any investigations? Are they going to redo the race, or?
No, they're not redoing the race. The race is done. They did red flag it and change over servers. But like everyone has said this is not cool, and this isn't like the Williams thing. They did that, and that sucks. But you know, that is, it's not within the spirit of the law.
Right.
And online cheating is a patch from EA. They can sort that out. But like R Factor 2 is spaghetti code at this point, and it is not fit to hold. Some people say it's not fit to hold the biggest sim racing event of the year.
That makes sense.
And people are pissed. So
slightly tangential to that, obviously there's some drama going on in the Final Fantasy 14 sphere with the world first, where apparently one of the people in the team that won world first won. More on that in a moment. But basically one person had a zoom out hack, so he could zoom all the way out, see the entire like end boss fight, and it made it substantially easier to complete the fight. So the response to that by Squeenix was to not only like penalize and punish the guy with the cheat, because only one of them was effectively cheating, or at least as far as they can glean, but they've still stripped titles, items, a bunch of in-game stuff that they would have got for coming World Fest is completely stripped from the entire team, all because one guy cheated. And I think that's a fucking fantastic response. Because it's like, if you can't stop your boys from cheating, then that's your fault as well if you're going to participate in it at the same time.
He can see everything. You can't tell if he was like, oh, this, and this. Look, this is all the stuff I can see.
Oh no, but he was able to, because they streamed it. So they streamed this guy zooming all the way out, and the guy who zoomed the way out could make calls that he shouldn't be able to see.
Yeah,
hence why it's perceived as cheating.
He streamed his cheating.
Yes.
I mean, I've streamed modded games, but like not like cheating.
You got to bear in mind the stance for Squeenix as well in Final Fantasy XIV is no add-ons, no damage meter, no nothing. Because the way they say it is if they let one through, they have to let them all through.
That makes a lot of sense, to be fair.
Yeah, so I think that was a fantastic response personally.
What a dumbass.
Yeah, and like, oh, let's stream me literally cheating in the most televised like Final Fantasy event there is. Like, what are you doing?
It's also like, I don't think... I never heard of Squeenix ever tolerating that kind of thing.
Oh yeah, in Final Fantasy XIV they've got a hard stance on it, and I think this is one of the reasons why they came out with that response. You were explaining to me that in Final Fantasy XIV they're a lot more stricter on that, like when it comes to like anti-bullying and harassment. Yeah.
And I'm obviously that has to go along with cheating too.
Yeah, 100%.
So that makes sense.
I just wish more games would take the same stance though, because like if more games did, there'd be less toxicity and like voice chats, there'd be less people like cheating in general, things like that, like really cranking down on it. But it also means that the community will start to self-police as well, because then if you're playing in a party with someone who's cheating, you're gonna be like, yo mate, I don't want to get banned with you, pack it in, kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Seriously.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's kind of, it's like, whenever I've come across any, like, because I don't play a lot of cooperative games and anything open world too much, or MMOs rather. I think I've come across like some cheating in, like, for example, Elden Ring before. Yeah. And it's like I just disconnect at that point. It's like, fuck this guy. Yeah. So I mean, that's good. I think that, and it seems like the community with Final Fantasy XIV for the most part seems pretty positive. So I wouldn't be surprised if like this would probably be the last or one of the last you'll ever hear of this kind of thing happening.
Hopefully so. Hopefully so.
That is a mallet, isn't it?
Yeah. It wasn't just a band hammer.
Why would you stream it though? That's what I don't understand why anyone would.
That's why one of the original cheaters in F1, I can't remember. He was like bottom split. He wasn't very fast. Posted a video of him doing his lap, and everyone who watched it, even me, who just plays it casually, went, "Wait a minute,
this is sus.
You've missed every apex." But you have all the traction in the what?
Right.
Yeah. Why? Just shut up.
Very, very suspicious. So moving on, Pulp. What did you play last year?
I went to go look at my statistics, and mine is gonna be very simple because I was thinking about it last night. Like, what did I play last night or last year? Fucked on Elden Ring. I was all about Elden Ring last year. I did play a lot of Resident Evil, a lot of horror games. I played through all the Resident Evil franchise for the most part, I think. And God of War Ragnarok, beautiful, wonderful game.
What stood out the most for you out of the games that you played last year?
I mean, Elden Ring, clearly. I have like 400 hours on that game.
Yeah,
and I just bought it again for PS5 to have another character. So
nice.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm pretty simple on this one. I mean, I went through, I'm trying to go through a lot of like, look at my stats, sorry.
Yeah, good.
I do go through a lot of like horror, like classic horror games in general. Because they're kind of fun. Like especially now that we have like the RE4 remake coming out soon and whatever, or the Silent Hill 2 remake. I went kind of down that path where I just wanted to, some of them I wanted to visit for the first time. Like I didn't play any of the tank control ones, like from back in the day, because I'm god awful at tank controls.
Right.
Jesus. So that's pretty much what I was doing all last year, was just streaming, especially at least on my own. did I play on my own? I think I played some remasters that came out. Like I
Right.
think I go back and play other things.
Did you finish
It's very
Ragnarok?
simple.
Sorry, did you finish Ragnarok?
I did finish Ragnarok. I think I'm 3 or 4 trophies away from platinuming it.
Right.
I did platinum Elden Ring. I did manage to do that. So like I mean, but with Ragnarok, yeah, it's great. I think most of the trophies I need left are just like getting all the collecting thing, which is my least favorite thing
Right,
in
yeah.
any game. So yeah,
Without spoilers, did you prefer it to the first game? Do you think it was an improvement on
I
it?
think gameplay wise, and I did like that one. I did like 2 better. But I think are like 1 better, a little bit better. And it's more because like I'm not no spoilers, but there are a few events where like you're forced into like different like perspectives,
Right.
and it's like I'm playing here to play as Kratos,
Right.
not other no one else. But I mean, it wasn't really that often. It just kind of like there was one part in the game I just remember it just dragged for forever,
Right.
and I was starting to really lose interest in it. Like God, stop and this.
That's fair play. How about you, Peachy?
It is good. It is good. I would recommend anybody play it.
That's fair.
I played a lot of games last year.
Any
'Cause
particular
it's the nature of
standouts?
my job. Death Stranding.
Okay.
Just phenomenal. It's probably the only game I've ever 100%ed in my life. Not that I
Nice.
don't enjoy games that much, but I just wow.
Has the director's cut come out yet, or is that soon?
Yeah, no, that's out. I didn't play that because I played when it came out on PC. I played it so much.
But-
I'm like, no, I'm done. So I yeah, that's a standout. That didn't come out last year, so we leave that. Elden Ring, obviously.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Iron Lung, a very cool small indie horror
I picked
game.
that one up. I picked that one up like a few months ago. I just haven't gotten around to it.
You
It's
haven't
good.
played it yet?
No.
Then all I
I
will
heard
say is, yeah, it's not very long.
Okay.
But it's a good time. It's from one of my favorite developers who makes boomer shooters. Ghostwire Tokyo. Did anyone play that?
I didn't
Yeah.
play it. I watched others play it, and I thought it looked okay.
It's the most disappointing game that I've enjoyed ever. Because the lore building, like the world building, not lore, I suppose. The design, the look, all the aspects they pulling, like the concept of the combat and stuff, just like, oh yeah. But the combat is just shit.
You know, when I said earlier that High Five Rush was made by a studio that did a completely different game before,
Right.
Tango Studios or Tango Gameworks, who made Ghostwire Tokyo. So Hi-Fi Rush is the game they've released after
Okay.
that. So
Oh, wait, they
it's such a
Did
contrast.
they really do get?
Yeah.
No way. They did. I have
Tango
that. Game.
Frameworks.
I
was
recommend
playing it on my
Ghostwire
phone.
Tokyo, but that combat is just not good.
I have it, and because I was really looking into it. Like I remember when it was announced, and I thought the lore looked really, or like the whole like aesthetic and everything looked really great. But there was like a couple of points. I think it was like some sort of platforming thing I had to do with the game, and it was rough. It was a rough one, baby.
From what I heard and like from what I'd seen watching other people play it, Ghostwire seemed to be a case of it had a lot of good concepts and good ideas, but then the fun or the impact of those ideas would wear out quite quickly, and then you'd seen a lot of the game in the first part of the game, and then it was just more of that, so people got bored of it quite quickly. Almost with like
For Ghostwire.
yeah, in a similar way to how Ubisoft games, the open world, it's the same thing over and over again.
I do want to go back to that. I actually need to go back to Death Stranding too. Then PG mentioned it. Like I was even just looking at it on my computer. Like I forgot I had it, and I was like, man, I'll just I should give that one another shot, because I got to a point and it was like more of a stealth sequence popped up,
Right.
and I kind of just like pieced out because I'm not really good at stealth. I'm a run and gun kind of type in games like that. I get too impatient.
Yeah, I've seen how you play Resident Evil.
Thank you.
Was there any other games?
Yeah, there's a couple of standout boomer shooters I played last year, which is Hrot, which is very good. Turbo Overkill, where you have a chainsaw foot and you slide in people and chop people up. That was amazing. Postal Brain Damage is really good. It's very modern Doom kind of game in the Postal universe, kind of.
Right.
cultic, fucking amazing. Visual, just the style is so good, and the gunplay reminds me of stuff like Blood, which, if anyone remembers that game, that's really good. And Forgive Me, Father, another boomer shooter with just acres of style. Where I played the demo and I didn't enjoy it. I enjoyed the style, but I didn't enjoy the shooter. And it's a boomer shooter. I really need that. But it came out, and whatever they did, they fixed the shooting. That's definitely worth a play. Spider-Man Remastered, another standout game.
That's a great game.
That is the only game I'm like,
Wonderful.
maybe I need a PlayStation. That was the only
Right.
game. And it
Yeah,
came out for
I have
PC.
that from when it first came out. It's awesome. Such a
Very,
good one.
very good. The next thing I'm hoping that Sony will release is Gran Turismo, but we'll see about that. And a game that you two might like because you're filthy anime lovers. And,
I don't actually play
is
that many anime games.
Chained
I don't play-
Echoes.
I
heard
don't
of
think
it.
I've heard of it. I don't play that many anime. Like, I'll play some anime games, but some of them, like, I check out so quickly. Like, when the dialogue is very, like, over the top, and like I was like, to
When it's more
myself,
social simulator kind of thing.
yeah, well, sometimes, like, well, they'll be very dialogue heavy, and the worst is when I've had this gripe when it comes with anime shows too, is when there's like young characters in it, and you have that one adult very clearly trying to sound like, imitate what the Japanese voice actor was doing, and it's like, please stop! It sounds so bad. I hate it when they do it too.
Yeah.
So I kind of struggle with
This-
some anime games. in that
This
aspect.
doesn't have much anime bullshit. It does have some JRPG bullshit, but it's
That's
more
cool.
modern and palatable because I can't palate that shit anymore.
Yeah.
I used to, but I can't anymore. And this is actually made by Deck 13. Now, Deck 13 have made my favorite game of all time, which is The Surge.
Yeah, and Surge 2.
And now they've made a JRPG, and they have smashed it. If you like JRPGs, you will like this game. If you used to, but you can't really get on with them now, you will probably enjoy Chained Echoes. It's
Definitely wanna
not
check out.
it's not even expensive. Yeah, it's 25 quid, so double A price. And I played some of it on stream, and it seems pretty big. The visuals are nice. They're kind of like
Oh, I've seen this game
Super
before.
Nintendo Plus, let's
I've
say.
seen this game before. It reminds me a lot of like old Super Nintendo games. That's
Yes.
fine.
It's got that
That's entirely
vibe.
fine. When it comes to like JRPG, I
It's-
thought you were talking
It's
about
proper
like
turn-based as well. It's like, oh, let me just
Turn-based is- I
think
like turn-based.
what I should do here. Yeah, I recommend that as someone who, for the most
this
part,
came out not too
can't
long ago. I feel
anymore.
like I feel like when it came out, I was looking into it.
I mean, check it out. Check it out. It's
I mean,
it's
25
production
bucks
value
is not.
good.
$25 isn't that bad at
Yeah.
all.
No, it's a double A publisher. Like, yeah.
A very
So-
good double A
Yeah,
publisher.
they did
like Deck
Dex. I
13.
love Deck. I
They
wrote
make
a
good
song
shit.
about Deck 13. I like them so
Mm.
much.
Nice. I did very much enjoy the Surge too. If you like your Soulsborne style games, chat or listeners,
It is my favorite Souls. Like,
do check out the Surge 2. You're basically playing Souls, but in a mech, essentially, or like
and
a
you strap
nice.
on new arms and shit, and you
Yeah.
can chop different body parts off because you're like, I need a new arm. Boom, and you get a new arm by chopping it off. It's brilliant. I love it.
That sounds awesome.
It is. It's very, very well made. Was there any other games?
I mean, I've played a bunch of games, but those are the standouts that I can think of
Right,
at
so
the moment. Looking at my Steam, I guess I might have played games on other things.
I played a lot. I could tell I played a lot. I was just looking at like what did I play live, and because a lot of my games I forgot what I played a lot.
I
last
did
year. So what
replay
were
Max
my
Payne
standouts?
again.
Max Payne. Oh yeah.
Emulate it. Don't play it on PC. It's rough,
Yeah, I've heard that.
but it's still very good.
Mm.
But very difficult on PC because it's tied to the frame rate, so enemies will instantly shoot you, and the game is
Right.
hard enough to begin with, so it's rough.
Fair enough.
In that case, some of the standouts for me, this one might be a little controversial, not between myself and you guys, but maybe for other people, but Dark Tide.
Dark Tide.
I actually had a
What's
lot
that
of fun
about?
with Dark Tide. What?
I know a lot. Of my
Warhammer
friends
Dark
have been really
Tide. You've
enjoying that
played it
game.
with me.
Oh, Dark Tide! Good God, yeah. I was like, that sounds familiar. Yeah, I played a shit ton of that.
Like,
yeah.
I genuinely really enjoyed the game. It had its issues on release, and the way I see it, like Fat Shark, I think they are overall a very good studio. I like to think I have a good working relationship with the community manager. He sent me socks, 2 pairs of Fat Shark socks that I've got in my drawer downstairs. Very comfortable. And I think they
Recommend the socks.
would recommend the socks,
I love
but
me a good pair of socks, man.
I think they realize they've made a mistake and they've said, you know, like we're obviously delaying the roadmap and stuff like that. And I want to be optimistic, and I believe they're being sincere, and it's going to be one of those times where they've screwed up and they're going to learn from it, and they're not going to make that same screw up again, you know, which I think is forgivable for a relatively like medium-sized studio.
I forgot about Dark Tide. That I played a lot of that. All I can say about that is I enjoyed the game a lot, and they did Warhammer really Warhammery.
Yes, I think the lore aspect, the art style aspect especially, is all of it spot on. The music, fantastic. Have you played Dark Tide yet?
No. I mean, I know a lot of people have been playing it, and I've heard it's very good and very fun.
Yeah.
Well, not very good, but when I checked the Steam page not too long ago, I saw that there's like mostly negative reviews, so I don't know what exactly happened.
Basically,
I
there's stuff missing from the game at the moment.
Oh, okay. That makes sense then. But when it comes to, I mean, I don't keep a close eye on Warhammer in general, so kind of that one went over my head entirely. And I've looked into it, but I'm not very familiar with See, this is why PhD has to have a whole episode just dedicated to schooling me.
Right. Yeah,
So
I would definitely recommend
where
it.
to go.
I think it's a game you'd actually really like because it's pretty much run and gun the game.
And Back for Blood has been just fucking sunset.
Yeah.
So
Oh, God.
if you want to play a multiplayer
Dude, I wanted
co-op
to like
zombie
Back
shooter,
for Blood so bad, and it was such a disappointment. I still go back and play Left 4 Dead 2 instead.
yeah, Left 4 Dead 2 or Dark Tide. I'd play Dark Tide now, to be honest.
Yeah,
With you.
same,
I
same.
really, really like Warhammer. So.
No,
Yeah,
the gameplay in Dark
no.
Tide is spot on. Another game I played, it wasn't released last year, but it was the first time I played it, which was A Plague Tale. The first
Oh,
game.
I still haven't played it.
I've got the second one. I got the key from from Focus, but I haven't played it yet, and I feel bad.
Can we just like Focus are amazing? I love
Yes.
Focus, dude. They're
There you are.
another AA that is smashing it, and will try things. Oh,
Mhm.
I love Focus.
That's the beauty of AA as well. They get the opportunity where they go. There's no
I
shareholders
did
preventing
forget
us from
another
taking a
standout
risk.
that I did just notice that there was another standout, but I forgot to mention was the upgrade for The Witcher 3. I was
Okay.
playing that a lot.
Is that modded
I
or
mean, it's not a
unmodded?
new game, obviously, but it was kind of nice that they did do that big graphical upgrade for PC users. Huge.
They update.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Actually, 'cause
they
I looked over at my Steam, and it's apparently there's another update for it.
Yeah, so as part of the next gen update for PlayStation and
Mhm.
Xbox, they also did a couple of like graphical updates for the PC version as well, just to bring it up.
Yeah.
I mean, I
It was
played
like-
Cyberpunk 2022 last year. It's 2077 in 2022.
I mean, to be
But
fair,
that wasn't released then. So.
Cyberpunk
Yeah.
is
I love that
an
game.
okay game. It's just a massively disappointing game, at least when
Not
it was
remotely
released.
disappointed with it. I'm gonna be honest.
Really?
I'm not even a little bit disappointed with that game. I love that game.
Did you not have any of the bugs and stuff
I
that
had loads of
released?
bugs. I had loads of bugs.
Dude,
Have
the
you
bugs-
played
I
an
didn't-
open world game before?
I didn't have
Mate,
that
the
many
bugs.
bugs. I mean,
I had loads.
I
Like,
had the worst one I had. I know I crashed I did have to go into like the system files for it because of how bad the fucking driving was. Oh my god, because it was so sensitive. I had to
They've
go on.
updated the driving.
Yeah, and I think I have to still go back and fix it because I changed some of the settings. Someone had like posted like a link, a fix for it, and I managed to do that. I think the one I remember particularly. I mean, I've had cars drop from like the
I've had cars
the
just
sky.
explode. Like they'll
Those
be
are great.
in the
I-
street and
honestly,
just
I love
explode.
and like
I had
cars
the-
like purposely going after you. I love it.
I
And
had
then I
the
had the,
what's his face, the big guy. You know when he takes the relic out of his neck, he
Mhm.
actually takes his gun out of his neck
I had that.
and
Yeah,
passes it to you, and
and
then
you're
you
just
put the gun
like-
in your-
dude, you
I
just
had
pulled a
one where,
revolver out your
where
head.
I crashed the motorcycle, and I crashed the
You can get
motorcycle,
2
and I just
copies of
went
his gun.
completely across the map, just far and far and away. The only one bug that really bothered me was they have issued a fix for it, but it's not on my game file that I got bugged. I managed to complete it on a different save file. It was called the bugbear, or it was like the one where you had to go. It was a side quest where you had to go in and put the coolant in the girl and carry her out. For some reason, when I would try to like inject the coolant, like it wouldn't let me pick up the coolant, but I could still go and do it. But then you would see the cord would just float from the back of her head, and I couldn't do anything else. And I tried reloading old saves. and it just then they uploaded or then they updated it with a fix. I think 2 fixes. It's still broken on my main file, but I did it on my my Netrunner. So I mean,
I'm
it
looking
doesn't
forward
bother
to the
me that much
DLC,
anymore.
so I can crack it open for another playthrough.
I do intend to return to
Very
it.
excited.
I probably
I am
won't
very
until I
excited
get
for the DLC.
4080 is probably when I will next go back to it. Excuse me. Another game I played. Did any of you used to play the Heroes of Might and Magic?
Oh, not really. No, I know I have played them.
Right. So I used
I
to
believe I
play.
have.
I played the 4th one a lot as a kid, and then there's a studio that came out with Songs of Conquest, where it's basically the same like art style, but obviously modern. So it's a more high fidelity of pixel art, and it's very much a homage. It's very difficult as well. Like even the beginning missions, you just getting absolutely fisted if you're not paying attention. But it's really good if you're someone who has the nostalgia for those types of games, or just really enjoyed those games and wanted more of that. Songs of Conquest, highly recommend. And another one that I played for the first time, wasn't necessarily released. Haven't gone back to it after about 2-3 months of giving it a go. Excuse me. League of Legends. I played League of Legends the first time. Yeah, I gave it a go because I played MOBAs before, and I like MOBAs. I used to be really, really good at Smite. I was okay at Dota. So I thought
that whole genre just isn't for me in general.
That's fair. And so I went over to League, and I was like, okay, I've just watched Arcane. The characters, the world seems really cool. I want to learn a bit more about it. So I played it, and I was like, yeah, I'm good at MOBAs already, so I've picked this one up quite quickly. And then I'd run into a Smurf, and then another Smurf, and then another Smurf, and then a troll who decided to just lose the game for the poops and giggles. And then I would be successful in completely trouncing someone in like this new account that I've made, and then there'd be another Smurf, and then another Smurf, and I was just like, oh, it was just such a horrible experience for what could have been a really fun game for me. And I feel really bad that I can't just like push through it and try and get ranked up, but just running into so many Smurfs and so many bad actors and stuff like that, it just really killed it for me. And I've seen you play it every day. I like Teamfight Tactics, by the way. Fantastic game. I also tried that for the first time last year. But League, I just can't get past it. The community, it's ruined it for me. Forgive.
Play ARAM.
Thing is, I did like the idea of ARAM, but that's more of the sort of thing I would do between ranked matches, for example. Like back when I played Smite, they have a similar mode.
League to level up in lane so I can have team fights, and ARAM they've updated ARAM. It's just all fighting all the time now. It is just perfectly distilled team fighting. You can teleport from your base to the nearest turret now,
right,
and just fight. It's the improvements they've done to ARAM. That's how you do ARAM. That's how you do ARAM.
I may revisit then, but it also means that I have to learn all the characters, and there's so many to learn. Although, if it's all coming to Game Pass, you can get it all for free. That's huge value. All the characters.
Because I've been playing that game for years, League? And I don't have.
Isn't there like? There's a lot of characters on League. Oh wow.
Yeah, so Valorant and Valorant and League of Legends, when they go to Game Pass, assuming this all goes.
I honestly thought Valorant was already on Game Pass, but I mean, again, it's like a community thing for both. A lot. That's actually where like a lot of my hesitation is. The communities are like, and I'm not a very competitive person.
2 champions.
102. And you get them all for free.
Wow.
62.
You get all the classes.
Is that all?
In Valorant, all the characters in League. I think you get a couple of extra stuff, like you don't get cosmetic stuff as far as I'm aware, but yeah. The value of that's like surely thousands of dollars.
I don't know. Nobody buys champions with actual money.
Oh, I imagine that people are like whales who can. They're just like, yeah, I'm just going to buy that. Like, I'm pretty sure.
There's a lot of people who will do
that. Yeah, there will be, because that's like the model.
No one's buying champions with real money.
Maybe you're not playing champions with real money.
Okay. How about this? There are 4 people in the world who have ever once bought a champion with real money.
Those 4 people are probably very offended right now.
And I also bet it's substantially more than 4.
Buy some skins, bro.
They probably do as well. That's the thing. If they've got the money, they're just going to buy what they want. But yeah, huge value.
It's like with mobile games. Like, there's like the whales where they just buy.
Yeah.
Put
absolutely
thousands of dollars in these games, and you're like, what the fuck, dude?
100%.
Like, I have bills, I have like other things I need to do. even with all
I
that,
gotta
it's like
eat, dude. I'm
I
not
gotta
buying League
eat.
champions
Like,
that I can
yeah,
get for
like I'll look
free
on like
with a
certain mobile
game.
games.
One game, I can buy a new champion.
Well, yeah, it's like I'll buy like I've gone in like other like games where they have like a lot of the buying not champions or loot boxes or anything for the game, and it's like $80 or whatever these like some of these exorbitant prices. I mean, $5 is nice if on occasion, but then it's like that adds up like
Oh, is
crazy.
League 10 cent? I
Yes.
think League
I don't
might be
know.
10 cent.
No, it's Riot who Tencent own 40% of or something like that, I think.
Oh, 4%. Okay.
I think it's they either own it and it's 40% of GGG or the other way around.
Mhm.
Like they've only got a stakeholder in one of them. I can't remember which one it is though. Some of the other games, I'll go over these pretty quickly.
Right.
Diablo 2 Resurrected. Enjoyed that. It was everything I wanted in a Diablo 2 remake. Fantastic. They're adding new patches and adding new rune words and uniques with seasons, which is pretty cool. But ultimately, I'm waiting for Diablo 4 anyway.
They fired Bobby Kotick yet?
Not yet, no.
I won't touch it then.
That probably won't be until after the if it goes ahead with the Microsoft buyout.
I hate. Okay, first of all, I hate the idea because Microsoft needs to be broken down to much smaller companies because it's insane. But maybe I'll be okay with it if they can just get rid of Bobby Kotick.
Yeah.
Because there's some games I'd like to play StarCraft 2 again.
Oh, see, there you go.
Good old StarCraft. Dark and Darker. It's not technically out, but I played it for the first time last year.
Is it good? I think I got what was it, the early access or whatever.
So they do a demo that you can access for free. You click on the request access button and it goes, here you go, here's your access. But it's usually only for a week at a time.
I played it for an
haven't gone
hour
around.
and just couldn't stand it.
I loved
Oh,
it,
really?
but I prefer it to Tarkov in a lot of ways. I think there's things that Tarkov does that is really, really good.
I think I saw a lot of people I knew playing it, and I went to go take a look. I was like, oh, it's free. I have that bad habit where it's like, oh, it's free.
I haven't
And just
played it
pick
with
it up.
people yet, so I don't know if it's better.
Well, I
for the group.
haven't touched it. I forgot I had it
Yeah,
until you just mentioned it. I just remembered I had it.
Yeah, I've played it solo and multiplayer. I think another test is coming up relatively soon. They usually do it for a week, where you can just play the game for a week and then they drop the servers. But I've really, really enjoyed it. I look forward to seeing what they come out with moving forward. There was Elden Ring.
Yeah.
One game of the year. Like,
Game of the year.
It's well deserved.
do I really
too.
need to say more? It was fantastic.
I would obviously pick a different game for Game of the Year, but that is a deserved win for.
Yeah.
I think it deserved it. I wouldn't have been surprised. I wouldn't have been unhappy if Ragnarok won it too, because of how much they sweep the Game
I'm
Awards.
glad that it, like, out of those two games, I think Elden Ring is probably the better game. But
Yeah.
you know, I don't think there's anything wrong with Ragnarok.
No,
it's
no,
not for
not at
me.
all. I mean, well, there's certain things like, for example, like when it was sweeping in the Game Awards, for example, like when it won
Yeah, but
music, I'm like,
everything.
yeah, Elden Ring only had like a few tracks. I was like, yeah, but everything else was just,
It beat Metal
Forgettable.
Hellsinger for soundtrack. Like that was the darling. That was the
Oh, it was
fucking
definitely the
corporate
darling.
get on your knees. Look at this game we made.
I mean, every once in a while, I
But
think I
it,
picked
you know,
it
it's
up
not a
after
bad game.
I played Ragnarok. I did pick up the soundtrack.
Yeah. I mean,
Pretty
with
decent.
Ragnarok and Elden Ring, I think it's more of it comes down to taste. You can look at both
Yeah.
games objectively and be like, these are both remarkable games.
I've been trying to get as many people as like, because I'm not the best when it comes to Souls games. I do enjoy them, but I do admit, like, every time I play them, I get really intimidated in the beginning because I don't know what to do. I really like, Elden Ring was when I actually started getting into PvPing a little bit. Like the Coliseum is so much fun. But and that's not to say I did not have a couple of moments where I got really upset. But it is one of those games where like I have been really trying to get friends of mine who who never played any Souls games. I've
Yeah.
been encouraging them to check this one out because it reminds me like I feel like it's a lot more easily accessible in comparison because it's even
Oh, it is.
It is, because if it's difficult, you just go somewhere else, which
Yeah.
other Souls like aren't. No,
Yeah, the-
that you have to go this way.
Yeah.
And this one
Yeah.
is like, no, you can go over
Yeah,
there.
and the only thing that ever got me was, and I admit that this was a a very silly moment for me. I wasn't streaming this, thank God. It was very embarrassing. Where I was playing co-op with someone and they died. I can't remember what happened. And I was in like it's where the area where Patches is in the game. And
Right.
there's an NPC invader that came in and he killed me. I was trying to go back to the Grace to go revive, my but my partner, and then I came back and he killed me. And I came back and I was like, why is he picking on me? He just keeps coming back. I had no idea he was an NPC. And so I again, this is why I say like sometimes I get scared because my ego takes the the
Right,
bruising.
right.
But I did end up like getting a lot better. The only thing is like, oh my god, the mages.
The
Kick
other
my
two
ass every time.
games, by the way, Lost Ark, which is a game that I'd been waiting
I
for
played
the
a bit of
release.
Lost Ark.
Like, I love
played-
Lost Ark. I wish the monetization was changed, and I wish they did something
thought-
other than the honing system. But I'd been
Yeah.
following that game for
I was playing that. I streamed
8
it a
years.
couple times. Oh wow.
Yeah. So
Is Lost Ark the one that was based on PvP and then they dialed it completely back when they launched?
no, that
Oh.
was Arcade.
Okay.
And
Lost Ark has all the
released it.
K-pop dances.
Yeah, so Lost
Love me
Ark
the-
was
a lot
the
of K-pop.
Korean
Oh,
game that they
I'm
released in
downloading that.
2018.
Perfect.
Then they released it in Russia in 2019, 2020, and then they brought it over here in early 22, I want to say. In February, I think
Yeah,
it
I'm
was.
trying to see when it came out. I'm trying to find it actually. 'Cause
Yeah,
I do have it. I played it for like I got 100 hours in it. Apparently, I didn't hate it.
Yeah. So it's
but I just I think I was having. I think it was a space issue. I can't remember. I wasn't really playing it too much. I liked it a lot better than Lost World.
yeah, so New
Not
World.
Lost World. Was it
New
New World?
World, yeah.
I did this last time. I keep
Old World. What?
Yeah.
Old World, all the worlds.
So
So many worlds.
for those not familiar with Lost Ark, it's a Korean MMO, essentially. It's a very, very beautiful game. It's very stylized. It's very much like the Eastern like anime kind of style. Not anime
Oh.
drawing, but you can definitely tell it's a East Asian game.
It's very hard to make an ugly character. I was very disappointed about that.
Yeah.
I love making ugly characters, and I was like, everyone's just too pretty.
Yeah,
This is
it's very
weird.
much like all the women are hot. All the dudes
all
are
of them
buff
got
as
like,
fuck.
all of them got cake, all of them got titties.
The combat though is really satisfying. It's essentially it's top-down isometric, so like your Diablos, your Path of Exiles, that kind
Yeah.
of style combat, but it's a lot more faster paced.
Isometric?
You can like juggle people with all your moves.
Wait, did I play the demo of this?
I don't
They
know.
did do-
I'm
I
trying to
think-
remember the
Is
class
it
I was. What was it,
horrifically
Chess?
monetized? Like predatory?
recent reviews.
So it's not horrifically monetized. That is pay for convenience, which is, you know, in a lot of people's minds, pay to win, but there's no direct pay to win. You can't just be like, I'm going to buy the
Okay,
most
then
powerful
that's not
sword.
the one I played.
Wasn't
There's
Lost
a
Ark also the one where like people made a big deal about how like certain classes were gender locked, and like I remember hearing something about that. It's like I don't really care about stuff
like there
like
was
that.
talk about it. People were like, oh, can you like
There's a
make
Deathblade. That's what it
other
was.
characters
Sorry.
like as
Thank you, chat.
other genders and stuff like that? But I understand the argument for that. For me, it doesn't personally bother me, but I can
didn't
appreciate
bother
how it
me
can bother
either.
other people.
I think
So-
I saw some argument like some, people with that they're just a little ruffled saying that they weren't going to play it until like there was, gendered options, and that's fine if that's something. I mean, that
Yeah.
things like that don't bother me that much, but I mean, I grew up as a girl growing up as a
Sure.
little girl playing games like all I had was Chun-Li in Street Fighter as a kid.
Right.
So like I'm kind of like I'm typically okay playing like a male character if I just like the class. I don't really I don't really care.
If I'm playing like an RPG and I can have a feminine body, I will always choose that.
Who doesn't want to have a feminine body?
In a game,
Hmm.
I'm okay with my male body
Yeah.
outside of the game.
Well, it's like I mean
But
I like
also,
playing.
I'm staring at this butt, and okay, I don't really like Witcher 3, but Geralt's butt in that game is fucking
Very-
hot as shit.
It is very nice.
You like that wagon he's dragging?
He's dragging that wagon.
I put the
But
big dong
usually,
mod on that one, so it made it very nice, but like front and back.
Nice. But the other standout game that I played was New World, and I only played New World
You really
after
liked
the
it.
reset, the refresh they did recently. So
Oh,
this was
really?
like November, December. So they did a refresh. They made like new servers, and obviously it's been patched since launch because obviously launch was kind of we had 1 million concurrent players, now we have 50k. What the hell, kind of thing. So
oh yeah, is that the game that had like servers with like 3 people in them?
yeah, which is partially why they did this refresh and made new servers that people could start fresh on and things like that. So basically starting from fresh rather than joining a server that's already been progressed a bit. So I got to enjoy like the new start experience, which I think is a really good
that's
idea.
nice.
Yeah. Like
I just remember when I played New World. I think I told you about this when I was on the East Coast servers because a lot of my friends are on the East Coast, which kind of kind of sucks for me sometimes where it's like there no one's online when I'm when I want to. So I
yeah,
had like off. So I don't play on West Coast servers that often, and we moved around a lot because we picked. I forgot what the factions name were. There was like the yellow, red, and blue, and we went with the yellow one, and we just our whole faction got completely overtaken
right.
on like the whole map, and it's like Jesus.
And that's the thing. Like people go, "Oh, this faction's winning. I'm going to leave this one and join that one because they're winning." So that is one of the awkward points about it. Like for New World, there's a lot about it since I've played it, which is obviously post-launch after loads of patches. That's really, really, really good. There's a few things that I think are dreadful and they need to definitely fix. One of those things is during the leveling up experience, which generally is very fun. Exploration is fun, the combat is fun, the dungeons are fun, fantastic. But then you get to about level 40, and then the quest goes, you need to go over into that zone, and there's loads of quests in that zone, all over the zone, and everything's like 5 levels higher than you. Some are 10 levels higher than you.
I think I remember that happening to me. I was more focused on chopping trees, man.
Well, I was trying to play with one of my mods and another community member, and my mod quit. He was like, fuck that zone. Like, you ran into it and you get like one shot or dunked on by things like 10 levels.
Yeah, that happened to me a few times where, and what I didn't like about it is it would be like you would kind of like wander into a zone without any warning, and they would be a lot more overpowered than you. And just be like, I keep dying over there, guys. I'm not enjoying this anymore.
This particular
They're
zone,
bullying me.
the main quest takes you through it, so you can't avoid it. It's like the main quest goes, if you want to progress, you've got to go to this place.
Quest. I don't listen to no man.
I know, but the point I'm making is this is something that can drive a lot of people away as part of something that is essentially mandatory. So that was like really awkward. I ended up like just Dave snaking it around like Metal Gear style, just trying to get through and like avoiding jumping in bushes, parkouring my way to saving my life when like a level 100 thing was chasing me down when it shouldn't have been.
Yeah.
But there was also a couple of instances where I fell through the level. And it wasn't like, oh, you've just clipped something at an awkward angle. It was like, here's a set of stairs. No matter how you climb these stairs at any angle ever, and the stairs is gargantuan and it's the only way you can get to where you're trying to get to, you're going to fall through it and you're going to get stuck, and then everything's on cooldown. You can't go back to your house. You can't teleport.
Good job, Amazon.
Fuck you, kind of thing. And it was funny because when that happened to me, it happened twice in a row, and I was like, you motherfucker. And then my GPU like went to shit and I thought it died, and I was streaming and I was like, I'm so fucking angry, and there's just this freeze frame because I used 2 PCs, so the game or the stream just freezes on me going like that basically because my computer died. But yeah, so New World, it has a lot of potential. To wrap this up, there's a lot of things they need to work on though that drive new players away very, very quickly, and I think they need to do something about the faction system to stop people from going, oh, well, we're getting dunked on, so let's all join that one faction and take over the island.
If they fixed that, it wouldn't be so bad. Because that was the problem I was mainly having is I played it. I went to two different servers, and both times it happened where like the faction I was a part of just got completely overrun. Like you're relegated to like this tiny corner on the map, and it's like, well, this isn't even fun anymore. So
Right.
I mean,
The whole selling point of that thing is that, you know, one side is going to win.
Right.
Well, the idea is that... So the idea is you take over a zone and then you can start wars to take it back and things like that. But because one zone...
But if you don't have enough players on your faction,
you can't
you're never
take it
going
back.
to win.
And you don't have enough players because all your team have left to join the faction that's winning. So it just snowballs.
All your friends don't like just dipping on you. It's like, well, okay, I'll just die then, I guess. Thanks.
Yeah. You also can't make ults in the same server, which I thought was really weird.
Traitor!
Because I ended up farming a bunch of gear that I want to make or hand over to a second character, and they're like, you can only have 1 character per server. And I was like, you want me? Why can't I make an ult? But you have to make it on a new server, which really sucks. That's going to be it for what I've got to talk about from last year. Wholeheartedly recommend the Songs of Conquest though, and if you like Tarkov style games, Dark and Darker, keep an eye on it. Poochie, you wanted to talk about Woohammer. Did you know?
There's just been some releases of stuff because of the Las Vegas Open preview. We can do them quick. Here we go, Brian. Let me go to mid show over here. First thing, there's a new squad of Space Marines, and they have a gun that looks like Wally. And everyone's dunking on that because it looks like Johnny 5.
Oh, it does as well. What the hell? Johnny 5 is alive.
They have announced a new kill team box, which is pretty cool. It's got Adeptus Arbites in it, an extraction squad. It's also got Cabalite Warriors, which I believe are out already in a bunch of terrain. But the Arbites have this unit, which is a Cyber Mastiff.
Sorry for audio listeners, by the way.
Well, it's a Cyber Mastiff. It's a Cyber Mastiff.
It's a Mastiff, and it's badass. It's wearing a non-muted gimp mask and lots of armor. But everyone will hear the dog barking with this one.
Just its body.
Oh, okay, fair.
It's a Cyber Mastiff. You can see its spine poking out there.
Right, yeah, for the
So that's
vertebrae.
cool. I'm interested in that. They announced a little while ago a new character model called Vashtor, which is the coolest fucking thing you'll ever see. If you are listening, go look that up. And they've just announced where you can buy it first, and it's in a massive useless box with Azrael, who is already out, 10 intercessors. I have 20 fucking behind me. Everyone has intercessors. It's got some Terminators, which most people have, some cultists. It's got 2 obliterators, which are kind of cool. But this is the main show, and the only place you can get it in is probably what's going to be a £200 box. Is Vashtor. That is the first place you can get it. So for most of us, we're going to have to wait until they release it separately.
Oh, that looks really neat.
This is the new continuation of the story because they've just released the World Eater box set and the Codex with the second Arc of Omen, which is the second book for the new storyline, which is called Angron. And it's all really cool stuff, but I don't have time to get into it right now. But I'm annoyed that I can't get Vashtor separate.
It's very steampunky, or like
It's-
Gears
yeah.
Hardcore.
A quick breakdown for you, Pulp, obviously. There is a place called Chaos, which is where all the evil, everyone's evil in Warhammer, gods are. And this is not a god of chaos. This is actually the arms dealer for chaos. So none of the chaos gods want to like poke the bear too much because they need the weapons that Vashtor makes. And Angron is like, I want to take over the universe and destroy the Imperium. So he's gone all in with Vashtor, and we're going to see some cool stuff. I think Dark Mechanicus, which would be really cool to have a Dark Mechanicus box. But yeah, at the moment, Games Workshop, being Games Workshop, if you want Vashtor right now, it's going to cost you 200 quid, and with a bunch of crap you probably don't want.
Nice. I look forward to seeing, like, I don't play Warhammer anymore. I always look forward to seeing, like, especially painted, the figures.
I like
Can't
the
wait to paint it.
designs of the characters. Like, it's pretty cool.
I cannot
Is it-
wait to paint that big spiky winged boy with his hammer, because he runs the forges in Chaos. So he's got a hammer, not a sword or whatever. He forges the weapons.
There's also that
And he's
one.
cool as shit.
There was the one that I tagged you in the other day, where the way it was painted. I'll try.
The non-metallic metal, that was very good.
Yeah, so it was basically painted like it had reflections, so it looked like it was all like metallic, but it was all, the reflections were painted in, and it looked absolutely amazing. I'm trying to find it.
I've not attempted non-metallic metal yet. I'm currently painting He-Man. You can't see it. I'm currently painting He-Man, Masters of the Universe figures at the moment.
That's dope.
How's that going, by the way? Because obviously you only just got that the other day, didn't you?
I've got 4 done. I just finished Man at Arms, and I'm kind of doing them so they remind me of the cartoon, but also cool and new and modern.
Right.
I like that.
Man at Arms has, instead of his normal orange armor, he's got golden armor.
You have so much patience. Those are teeny tiny. I'd screw that up in a heartbeat.
Yeah, they're the coolest fucking shit.
They do look cool.
Very teeny
It's
tiny.
honestly like figurine painting is one of the most impressive things to me.
Was there anything else
I
that
do
you?
a lot of that. I'm impressive.
Was there anything else that you wanted to cover?
It's
Paul
just
Peachy?
Nothing
Okay.
today. No. I think I'm pretty good for the day.
my notes are done. There we go.
I didn't write any notes this time. I'm going to next time.
I have a terrible memory if I don't write notes.
That's the picture, by
I
the way.
have to as yeah.
So that for those who
And I have
audio
to go
listeners,
buy a camera today.
ooh, new camera. But yeah, for audio listeners, there's a
we talked
picture of
about
this figure on screen. I'll put a link to it in the in like the description of the videos, depending on what platform you listen to. But yeah, that looks sick. I'm very impressed with that paint job. But is that going to be it from us? Should we do shout outs?
Yep.
Yeah.
Ah! Okay, that's me.
Ah. Go ahead. Who are you and where can we find you?
I am Pulp Fictionally. I just am an internet model, and I am on all social medias with the exception of Twitter at Pulp Fictionally, and Twitter is what Plop Fictionally.
Plop fictionally, yeah.
Yeah, because someone took my name, and I do stream. I casually stream other like whatever I'm in the mood for, really, and I will start streaming again next week. I have been taking a month off, so
Nice.
hope to see you guys.
Poochie.
I'm Peachy Pixelate. You can catch me on twitch.tv/Peachy Pixelate, on Twitter, Peachy Pixelate. At some point, there's something coming on the YouTube, but we'll talk about that later. And that's it. I'm currently playing Priest Simulator, which is not what you think, and it is a Polish aneurysm simulator, is what that is. And there's a lot of dogs in there. That was the Cyber Mastiff for everyone in the podcast. And that's it. Brian.
The Cyber Wiener. Hello, my name's Brian the Pirate. I am a variety streamer here on Twitch. You can find me basically everywhere: TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, not Facebook, and of course Twitch at Brian the Pirate. Next week, I will probably be playing a Plague Tale Requiem on the weekend because I've been meaning to do that since release, and I feel bad to Focus, who gave me the key to specifically do that. So we're going to get that underway. Tomorrow, I'll probably be playing something a bit chill. I stream at 3 p.m. GMT here in the UK. So I'll be probably streaming maybe some Vampire Survivors or some Last Epoch, something to that effect. I play a lot of action RPGs and shooters for the most part. But this has been episode 1, singular, the first, technically, of Fully Rendered. If you want to follow us on social media, I have a command. I don't know about the others in chat, but if you're in my chat, there is a command.
Got a command. Yep.
So there's the YouTube channel. There is anchor.fm/fully-rendered. If you go there, you can also find the other audio only links, so you'll be able to listen to it on Spotify, podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. I think there's like Radio Republic and a couple of others on there, and it will also be going on the YouTube. So do subscribe to the YouTube and the Twitter. But thank you everyone for joining us. I hope you've enjoyed the show. We'll be back in 2 weeks, same time, same channels. Farewell.
Bye.
We'll
Love you.
remember you.
Bye. Love you. Bye.